Hey everyone, welcome to the stream for the Steel Donut Collective. My name's Connor, and with me I have the full group. We have Blake.
Hey everybody.
We have Bob.
This is my final intro line.
We have Matt.
Hey, I'm Matt.
And we have Yella.
Good day.
Oh man, god damn it.
What?
Someone in the chat just said, double check the description. It's recent conclusion. Fuck, he's right. I fucked it up.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
nobody's perfect.
Someone
That's it.
fix that.
Okay, show's over. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I was gonna say end of the stream, end of the Steel Donut.
Peace out, everyone.
I knew Bob was gonna kill the
I was
channel.
gonna make that joke just now. Fuck.
Also, everyone, I want to apologize if I sound like I'm on the verge of death. I am switching over to night shift, and I am on the verge of death.
I think you just mean you are on the verge of death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will be on the verge of death. Actually, I'll just be dead, hopefully, in a couple weeks. So,
Whoa.
but until then, I'm just gonna sound like I'm dying.
Connor, while you're there,
that's
can
how
you
you
please
go-
fix
That's how
that?
you go towards death.
I'm not signed into SDC. I'm signed into Insetic.
Okay, I'll switch
Okay,
over.
but while Bob does that, I'll move, over what you see because this is the retrospective stream for our coverage of J. Edgar Bean Poe Night Watcher.
Oh
no.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
Guys, it's finally over.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe it.
5 years in the making.
Yeah,
I wanted
guys.
to
So close.
I'm saying, it's so funny because it's something that's sort of it's something that's been there since pretty near the beginning. It's kind of odd to have it end,
It's like 5 years almost.
Yeah, I was
5
talking to
years
Yella
ago.
about that also.
like
Yeah,
I,
it's like I almost kind of didn't want to.
Night Watcher on the Steel Donut Night Watcher on the channel is older than Yella on the channel.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
really
and I
kinda
would and
is.
it almost makes me want to just jump back into another one right away, just so that way there's one going in the background.
Yeah, we need to know to last another 5 years.
Yeah,
for the 10th
that's
for the
our
10th year anniversary of this channel.
yeah, like
you
that
know.
that like it would be our background noise,
Yeah, 2024 and the 10th year anniversary of this channel, we can finish DeBoer's another one of his books.
And
By
I
the
will
way-
say we definitely will cover another one of the books because there's plenty of other
Oh, for
insane
sure,
shit.
yeah.
We'll probably try to do it a little more quickly.
More regularly, yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, congrats to the four of you. We just hit 1,800 subs today.
Oh, does that
Oh,
mean we
yeah.
have to eat 1,800 subs?
Now we
as
have
well?
to eat 1,800 subs.
Oh.
1,800 subs
Now
sandwiches.
we have-
For
Damn.
sub, my guy.
It's sub for sub, yeah.
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 Prepare to die, you dumb asshole.
You know what? I'm kind of sad that a lot of kids out there these days will not remember.
They have no idea what the
sub for
fuck that
sub.
is. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't know. They won't have been around, and maybe that's for the best. Because fuck sub for sub. It's
Yeah,
probably
it
for the
would-
best. They don't know what that
No.
is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I sub, you sub.
It just
Nowadays-
makes me feel that much older that I remember a time when sub
When
for
that
sub
was
was
a
like
common
was a
thing.
thing.
If you want to talk
Yeah.
about feeling old, so I helped out at a thing at the college I go to, and there were these teenagers who were, they're still in the process of deciding what they want to study and all that. And so we were in the lab, just showing off some chemistry things. And one of them walked up to me and said, "Hey, mister." And I was taking a second to realize, oh shit, he's talking to me.
Yeah. You're expecting him to walk up and be like, "Hello,
And then I
there,
re-
man."
and then I realized, immediately afterwards, I'm a decade older than that kid is. What the hell?
Yeah. You expected him to just address you like you address everyone else. Bruh.
Yeah.
Expect to address him like, "What's up, bitch?"
For a quick second, I thought you were gonna say I'm a dad now.
It makes me so old when I look. It makes me feel so old when I look into my child's eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Night Watcher.
I mean, a good question asked in chat though. Is anyone gonna do a rousing rendition of "Hey Yo, Come Alive"?
Oh yeah.
During the stream.
Yeah,
Hey,
and I
yo,
gave it an answer, maybe.
come alive.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my
Yeah.
rousing. rendition.
That was pretty rousing. I'm
Yeah.
roused.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
Oh.
aroused though? That's the real question.
All right, but no, I do
I'm
want
always
to,
aroused.
I have this crazy thing where I want to talk about Night Watcher.
What?
Yeah,
For the
that's
Night
pretty.
Watcher retrospective.
That's pretty insane.
So I have a,
but
I,
let's
I
do
do,
it.
Blake. I know you probably have something to kind of open things up with. This
I
might
do.
even be the thing that you want to open things up with, but I have a thing that I want to open this up with, and it's very important. Why is it called Night Watcher?
All right. That was I was probably gonna get there somewhere, but I wanted to start by just talking about like how we first found it because I remember reading it as a kid.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to start with
My condolences.
because
Yeah.
I grew up in a very, very, very Christian household, extremely Christian, like as in only allowed to listen to Christian music. Of course, I didn't just listen to Christian music, but that was the only thing that my parents would buy. It was mostly Christian movies. It was, whole Bible Belt sort of thing. And so we would go to these like Christian book fairs and I'd have to read Christian books. And honestly, the perhaps the saddest thing about Night Watcher is I've read worse. There's one series of Christian books for kids that I'm pretty sure are written by a sociopath. Because they're supposed to have like slapstick scenes, but they like reach like hostile levels of sadism where like just extremely violent shit is happening, and it's like played off as if it's like nothing, and it's kind
Do
of.
you remember the name of this book?
I do remember the name of it, but I don't like to think about it.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you about it afterwards. But Night Watcher is one of the books that I read, and I remember just finding it so strange. And that's sort of where it left off. And then I ended up finding a physical copy of the book later on that I lost, and I read it again when I was older, and I was like, "This is super insane." Like I guess as a kid, I just sort of brushed over the more insane aspects, but the only thing I really remembered was the whole like the backyard was woodsy. There were woods, there were trees, that whole section.
Yeah. So
And then when I pulled it up and me and Bob found the website, we just read through the whole story, I think in one night, 2 nights?
That was one night, yeah.
One night, and we were just blown away.
Yeah. So was this?
By the way, yeah, like
Oh.
Yella said, welcome Eve to the stream. Eve is one of our patrons.
Yes.
Cool. So, Blake, was this like the first Dick Borer book that you'd read? Like, did you know about his whole series, or did you just get this one?
This is the only one I had. Like I said, I got it at a Christian book fair. For like 50
And,
cents.
after we read this one that night, we kind of looked through some of the other ones, and this one actually is very different.
It's a bit of an outlier.
It's extremely different.
It's extremely different because the other ones are very sports related.
Yeah, they're supposed to be sports mysteries, so
Yeah, and so like this one has no sports in it, which makes it perfect for me.
Yeah.
The
setting is different because the other books take place almost entirely at the school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so
And this one takes place
Stan says it's called Night Watcher because Blake and Bob watched it during one night.
Yeah. Let me actually tab
Alex,
over.
I hate you.
I'm on the website, and so yeah, you could see the rest of. Oh well, actually, do you want them to see the rest of
Soccer,
the Dick
sure,
Borer?
I mean, that's
Football
fine.
detective.
Yeah, I mean,
Football detective.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a fucking name.
So like these are the other books in the J. Edgar Beanpole series. So yes.
before we move forward, we need to
Volleyball
address.
spy.
Hold on. We need to address the elephant in the room. Can we just get a zoomed in version of that basketball hawk cover because that's the cover for Football Detective with word art on top, and I'm not like that is literally what it is.
Was Football Detective above it?
Above it,
yeah.
So
Above
that's
it,
Football Detective. Oh yeah, it's just basketball hawk and then
Wow.
a picture of the basketball guy.
What?
Also,
You
yes,
just put a stock photo on top and word art.
How?
Poshkoff, I'm assuming you're talking about my cat. Yes, my cat is here. She's
I-
Special guest.
And then
Special guest Blake's
Sink It Becky P down there is another one where they just took Football Detective and used word art and fucking.
What the fuck?
All right, wait. So, but Dick Borer's artist. Actually, we did find out who he is because he's credited. And he's still working, and he's a pretty.
Yeah,
good
he's still
artist.
working. Maybe we'll commission some thumbnail art.
Yeah, can we commission him to do some like art for
He's a
our
cool guy.
channel?
But yeah, so the other differences, so the setting again, the other ones are all at the school. This one takes place sort of all over and rarely at the school. There's a bunch of recurring characters that just
don't make an appearance in
don't make
Night
an
Watcher.
appearance. So like in the other ones, the idea is that he works as a reporter for the school newspaper. He doesn't do that at all in this one, and
never even mentioned.
The school is pretty much a non-factor. Like
yeah, and the whole staff of the paper, a bunch of recurring characters there. There were like bullies that occurred across the books. They're not there. Yeah, so there's like essentially
the principal and like the coaches. They know him, and like Shirley's,
all these people are
Shirley's
just
in the books. She's pretty much the only one who gets carried over, except probably Carrie. Carrie probably makes an appearance too in the.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's the Pirates Caribbean 4.
Hoshkov says maybe you could interview the man older than time. Man, I have actually reached out to Dick Borer and got no response. So
damn.
I'm not joking when I say
I'm hoping he's dead.
No, he can't die. He's unkillable.
Maybe. By the way, they call him Shifta has a really great appreciative reader comment.
Oh, Emma wants to know about they call him Shifta. Okay.
So they call him Shifta is a really, really interesting book. It has nothing to do with Beanpole, and it is instead, Ted Quigley hates being a missionary kid stuck in a corner of Africa. He links with rebel nationals to get foreigners kicked out of the country. Not until he discovers the rebels want to kill all foreigners does he wake up to his own rebellion and discover who the real rebel leader is.
What the fuck, Dick?
That sounds really
ridiculous.
Calm down, Matt. Calm down. So that one's obviously is not about Beanpole.
Right. I think Matt's reaction is pretty reasonable. Can we get that appreciative reader comment?
Okay, yeah, we'll do this, and then we'll go back oh, what?
I mean, I was trying to finish summing up. They call him Shifter, so it doesn't have Bean in it. It's a longer book, and it's intended to be aimed at adults instead of children. That's why it's about much more serious shit.
Also,
except it's still a missionary fucking kid. So
yeah, it's still a child.
Yeah, but it's like not supposed to be for kids, or maybe it's supposed to be like teens.
Okay, so here is the appreciative reader comment.
Yeah, a reader comments about they call him Shifta. I want to tell you how much we enjoyed reading your book, Shifta. I read it to my husband. A couple of weeks ago, we took a trip, so I read it aloud while he drove. A lot of books have dull spots in them, but we found Shifta was interesting all the way. I was glad we were driving through desert when we were reading the last few chapters because I didn't want to quit reading for anything. Mrs. Juanita K.
Yeah.
Weird. Very weird.
Okay. But
I love that he has so few appreciative reader comments that he has to separate them by book.
No, so, I mean, fuck it. Even the guy who wrote Scripture Sleuth had multiple fake comments.
Yeah.
So I like how not only do all of these spoil the whole plot of every book, but yeah, so going back to Night Watcher, I like the last sentence of that. Prayerfully, courageously, Bean exposes the sham and brings revival.
Oh my god.
Because obviously prayerfully is an adverb.
I don't think I've ever heard prayerfully before.
It's when you're full of prayer. Just like when you do something successfully, you're full of success.
Yeah. A razzle-dazzle demonic program that pokes fun at all they believe in.
Razzle-dazzle, summon a demon.
Yep.
All the monkeys swinging in the tree.
All right.
Yeah, and it does.
Oh, I already. Yeah. Shit.
Sean Clune, Tonight on Down the Rabbit Hole, Steel Donut guest stars as themselves.
Can I just say that I think Football Mystery might be the worst name for a book.
Football Detective?
I'm sorry, Football Detective might be the worst name for
Football Mystery is a worse name, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure which one of those would be worse, but like Soccer Sleuth is like, okay, whatever. I see you're trying to do like a thing there. Like Night Watcher, like it doesn't relate to anything, but it sounds
cool.
Vaguely interesting. Football Detective. It's just 2 words. It's just like the most blunt title ever.
I mean,
there's no prose. There's nothing clever here. It's like Dick Borer's like, I'm gonna write a book about a football detective, and I'm gonna call it Football detective.
Well,
There
it's
we
part of the naming theme where it's like the sport and then a synonym for detective. Or,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
like
detective
soccer sleuth works, but it's not a synonym for detective. It's just detective.
Well,
And
I
it's
mean-
just a sport.
Yeah, I mean that's how they all are. The only difference is that it's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't find it any that much worse. But I do find
And
worse.
it's-
What I
it's
do
just
find
like-
worse
Can
is
you-
the content. If you actually read the books, I find that to be the worst
Stannis,
part.
can you link me that Imgur album full of memes again? Or link it to Connor, actually.
I don't know. I like you know it. I think the titles are kind of generic, but they work. In fact,
I
think-
agree. I agree with Emma Kirsten. Volleyball Spy is really fucking dumb because
I mean,
he's not a spy.
Well, I mean, in that book,
Doesn't-
he actually is.
Water
on them.
polo double agent.
Yeah,
I
you
like
see,
water
that-
polo
that's right.
double rugby investigator. I'd read that. I want
Yeah,
to read.
but
Rugby
but the
Investigator.
thing is that in Volleyball Spy, he does. That's what he's sent to do.
He does what? You
He does
cut out.
actually spy in that one. So the titles I think are kind of generic, but when you actually get into the books themselves, that's when you find out you're
So-
not in Kansas.
Okay, so then-
speaking of, he totally missed out on calling one of his book espionage.
Ooh,
Ooh.
sportionage.
Yeah,
Like
Oh, shit,
espionage.
I fucked up
How
Discord.
long were you thinking about that?
I just thought of it just now.
Frisbee Ninja. That's pretty good, Locke.
Yeah.
I'm. This all comes back to the question I asked at the beginning. Why is it called Night Watcher? Did he do any
don't
night
think so.
watching?
Yeah,
I
it feels
don't
like
know.
just sort of like vague.
He just really
metaphorical
had
type.
no idea what the fuck he wanted to call it, and he just went
You should have called it
Night
No, he
Watcher.
should have called it oh dang, hang on, it's on the tip of my tongue. Give me 1 sec.
I guess he probably thought it was cool. You know.
No, I think
Okay.
that is what Matt's saying. That should be the title of the book.
Oh,
Hang on, it's at the tip of my tongue.
Oh.
J. Edgar
uh,
Beanpole and Friends. Hang on, it's at the tip of my tongue. By Dick Borer.
I would have said fuck, I don't know what I would have
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I think
I would have said, fuck,
It's-
I don't know what I would have
it's
said.
lost off your tongue. It's gone down your gullet. It's in your stomach by now.
I
You
actually
ate
I
it,
just
you're
am
dissolving
digesting
right
my
now. And
word right now.
You know, maybe I'm jumping ahead to the end, but thinking about it, okay, so J. Edgar Beanpole, you know, that's the name at the top of all the books. That's the series name. That's what you really want to know the main character as. So the scholarship at the end of the book, wasn't that called the Beanpole Spencer Scholarship?
Bean Spencer, yeah.
Bean Spencer. Okay, so
No, I think it was Beanpole Spencer.
so Billy
No.
Spencer is the character's actual name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
that's
Right.
correct.
His nickname level 1 is Beanpole Spencer, fucking why. Then his nickname level 2 is J. Edgar Beanpole, so that he could be like J. Edgar Hoover. But why the
Like that
fuck?
famous detective.
I mean, they're just naming it after like the name he prefers to go by.
But
And then they go
everyone-
further, and he gets another nickname in one of the books, Slippery Eddie.
But
Yeah.
everyone
Oh.
calls him Bean. So
Yeah.
right.
who
So,
he willingly decided that
To call
Bean is
himself
the name he
Beanpole.
wants to go by instead of Billy.
Yeah, no, I'm reading right here for the end. Bean Spencer scholarships. Because Bean is the name that he goes by. So it's like,
Why does he go by Bean? It's so
Because
dumb.
I mean, I agree it's dumb, but I mean, he's not gonna because it's not what he's known by.
Like
Bad
in
name.
book 1, is chapter 1 about Billy Spencer deciding to go by Bean, or like is he already committed to that by the?
I think he's
very
already
open-
committed to it in book
Yeah,
Okay.
he starts with that.
Look, guys,
I think we moved on a little quick from why it's called Watcher. I think Bruce is on the right track. Night, demonic time, Watcher equals detective word. I think it could also just be like vague metaphor. You know, you hear Night Watcher, like if it's like one of those things where it's like I'm gonna say a couple words and like what do you think of? What images come to mind? And it's like Night Watcher, you think of like somebody poking around at night, city streets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it
mean,
wasn't just intended to be evocative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you have like titles that are, strictly about something in the book. Maybe they're named after a character. Or just like I'm looking over at my bookshelf, Under the Dome by Stephen King. It's about a bunch of people under a dome. But then you'll have a book like, Naked Lunch. It's not about people getting naked and going to lunch. So
Arcosia asks, so his full name is Billy J. Edgar Beanpole Spencer. Yes, that's his name.
Yeah, his name is William Spencer, Billy Spencer.
Well, we don't know that it's William. It could be Billiam or
Billiam.
Or just
Billard.
Billaless.
Yeah, so Billy Spencer. But people call him J. Edgar Beanpole because he's a detective, just like J. Edgar Hoover, and his nickname was already Beanpole. So it's a nickname of his nickname. His name is Billy Spencer, but people call him
like Connor said, it's layers.
Yeah, but
it's like an ogre.
Yeah, I was just reading out the layers.
Can I just real quick say I love that on the cover of this book, Bean makes 3 appearances.
Yeah.
He's being chased, and he's talking to who I assume is Miss Beauregard in the back, and he's in the foreground.
I didn't notice
That's great.
Until you pointed that out. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he's on the cover 3 times.
It took me a while to notice that there's actually tiny people in front.
Yeah.
What's that tower in the back? Is that the church tower?
I guess that's supposed to be the church.
Yeah,
and I guess that's the spotlight behind the church.
Is that the moon? Is that the sun? Is that like...
That's the blood moon. Because he fought so many werewolves in this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, do you think it's a bad cover? I don't have a problem with it.
No, it's not a bad cover. It's just kind of amazing that the same character is on it 3 times.
It's a little bit much. I think I would have preferred a much more simple cover.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen things where they do multiple people. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not one of the other covers with bad clip art on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the artist is the guy who needs to escape from this unscathed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it that it's very well made, like art-wise.
Yeah. So how do you guys
thing here?
How do you guys feel about like the plot of the book? Because Blake and I knew where things were going from the beginning, and I'm curious to get Matt and Yella and Connor. I know Yella, you came in a little bit late, but
I mean, I can definitely comment on the ending. Or like the last bits where it's just kind of upsetting, It's just
anybody feeling good about how he summoned a demon?
I feel like
that was the best part. That was the only saving grace.
And I'll say it again. I feel like that's the only way this story could have possibly ended. Like I was talking about it before, I think in the Discord, like the public Discord. I was like, it's insane he summoned a demon, but like what else could he possibly have done at this point? Like he's done everything.
Yeah.
Kangaroo court. He's like he's gone to the cops. The cops won't help him. Like nobody will help him. And they're having a fucking court session just to dunk on him. Like, I'd be disappointed if he didn't summon a demon. Like, that's it. That's the only logical conclusion that could come of this. There's no other way this story could possibly end. It would go on forever.
And that's one of the things I sort of wanted to mention. We had like the joke where we would diss on Beanie throughout the story, but like, to as Bob would say, part the kimono a little bit. The thing is that Bean really is innocent the whole story, and it's kind of insane. How nobody ever gets caught. Like it makes me wonder, like
how does Dick Borer assume the legal system works?
Yeah,
because it seems that he thinks it just doesn't exist.
I mean,
because it's like
and I see kids drinking. I can't press charges, man. You can't do it.
I mean, I think it's a good point. Like Arcosia brings it up. Someone should have gotten arrested at least, because it is a fact that with the whole serving alcohol to minors, that
they were
like
caught.
They were caught doing that. A police officer was there. He caught them doing it. Why did nothing happen there?
Why didn't Beanie press charges after the story was over that he got beat up by
Also, like
the
his
Red
mom
Cyclone.
got threatened
like-
in front of him by a guy
Yeah.
he could recognize.
Yeah, like okay,
And
like
then
let's
he
say,
was like,
let's say-
oh, I didn't want to tell the cop because I didn't think he could trust me. But like,
No,
it's
no,
been
fine.
resolved. I think you can tell the cop now. Like,
not
they're
just that, not
pushing-
just that, but also like he's like, okay, well, I didn't have evidence. There'd be no way to prove it. Well, I'm sorry, you have literally the victim's testimony of what happened. His mother was held at knife point while Buddy wasn't wearing a mask.
You saw it was him.
You saw it
You
was
know
him.
it was him.
She saw it was him.
As I'd say, I think perhaps the mom is way more, because Bean's just a kid, maybe he wouldn't know about like pressing charges, that sort of thing. But like his mom gets held at knife point, and she sees her son gets beat nearly to death. And what is her response? Well, let's just pray about it.
Well, I mean, I feel like Bean should know. I mean, he's not that young, but also.
But I mean,
he's-
regardless,
Well,
like,
hold on. He's not that young, but also he's also well known for solving mysteries, and he knows that bad things get people arrested. That's why he calls Joel, and that's why he fakes like the cops are there.
Yeah.
With that ridiculous thing about flipping the light switch and making a noise with his mouth. So
but
like,
it still
there's
doesn't
no
make
way
sense
you can say like he's like, oh, maybe he didn't know that the police would arrest Buddy. Like he knows the police would arrest Buddy. And also at the end of the book, he says what I guess what Pastor Gruber said. He said he couldn't ask the police to arrest them because he couldn't prove they had put the liquor in the punch. That's
the cop
not
was right there.
That's first of all, the cop was right there. Second of all, that's not the only thing they did that was wrong.
My point is just that, like, like in real life, if you heard about something like this happening, and you heard that both a child and an adult knew, you'd be like, okay, the kid probably should have said something, and you would say the adult absolutely should have done something.
Yeah, I mean, like
Definitely.
after she's being held at knife point, like it's clear to me that Dick Borer has never ever been held at knife point or gunpoint in his life. And I'm not saying that most people have, but like what happens immediately afterwards? His mom goes, "Ha ha ha, Bean, you're so
You
funny
really-
how
you
you
really
do."
got him.
What the fuck
Showed him
kind of
good.
reaction is that?
I'm not gonna call the cops. You really showed him
Yeah.
good, Bean. I won't
got
press
him.
charges.
Hey Bean, I remember. hey Bean, I remember that time you got beat nearly to death. Yeah.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
good goof. That was a great prank they pulled on you, Bean. They beat
Yeah.
you to a pulp.
No, we don't use the word prank anymore, Matt. That was a social experiment.
That was a great social.
We don't
experiment
use the
they
word
played.
social experiment anymore. We use the word jape.
Ah,
That's a
there you
good
go. Bring it back, baby.
Mhm.
Also, the
Yeah.
pastor's wife knew there was problems with these groups, so it could be institutions. I was going to comment on that. I think at the end of the book, the more I think about it, the whole problem with the youth group thing might have been referring to just like the lack of
Everyone showing
leadership
up.
part. Because if you remember in the beginning of the book, they're like, "Oh man,
I mean, the very first chapter, the pastor says, "Does anybody want to volunteer?" And then they volunteer. You know.
I think the problem might have been the lack of leadership and the husband and like the pastor ignoring it was him not stepping in. Like the pastor was maybe telling his wife, like, "Hey, maybe I help out with the youth group." And she's like, "No, don't stretch yourself too far. Just wait for someone to volunteer."
Wait for
and-
someone else to do it for you.
Yeah, and I think that was the problem being referred to, not the criminal problems that happened afterwards.
Yeah,
but the
if
lack
I-
of leadership before.
if I remember right, in chapter 17, when Jomo and Bean bring Shirley over to the pastor's house, and she's saying just reveals everything, and the pastor's just completely blindsided. Like, once he passed the youth group off to the Egglestons, he just did not know about
He
any
checked
of
the
it.
fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Jumper the
oversight.
Frog asks, couldn't have been. That's quite a contraction you've got there. Couldn't have been become the youth leader. I think.
I mean,
not,
he's one of the
because
young people.
Yeah, like he could be a youth who's kind of influential in the group, but I think the idea was that there would be like an adult who could kind of lead people. Granted, Bean is I mean he's
an old man in a
he's an
boy's
800-year-old man in a child's body.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so whatever. And his family is tied into the church. His mom does some kind of work. I think she was a nurse or something.
I mean, maybe Bean could have, but he didn't try. I mean, I can bring up chapter 1 and we could just see that pastor's like, any adults. So that's not a...
like, obviously the pastor's assuming an adult, but, like, if Bean wanted to, he could try.
I'm going to ask a question that has an answer, but also, has Dick Bohr ever been to a church before? Obviously, the answer is yes, but I really have to wonder because, again, with my childhood, I've been to church. I've been to several different churches because we've had to move, and never would they would never, unless it was like a really small church, and it seems like this one definitely is not. Would they just be like, hey, can anyone like lead this youth group? Like, churches are more structured than that. Like, people get paid to work at the church. They would hire somebody. They wouldn't just say, hey, can someone come do this, please?
Can I get someone to come?
This whole situation, like the whole situation, the way it happened, it shouldn't even been possible for it to happen this way.
I mean,
they would have hired on someone to work as a youth pastor who had been to seminary or something.
I mean, we get no details as to how big this town is, but to me, it did always feel kind of small town, actually. And maybe that's just because it felt stuck back in the 1950s, but...
even the 50s, they had big churches. I mean, this has elders, balconies, like...
I mean, well, no, I don't think that's necessarily huge. I mean, like, there are churches here where I live where they have a second floor, and that's the balcony. And then elders, there's like 6 elders.
I mean,
the church is fairly small. Like,
yeah, but I mean, we know from context from the rest that it's huge. Remember when Bean goes ducking through classrooms? It's a big church.
That's true.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
It is a big church.
And also they have like the hot pipes and stuff. They've got like a whole thing going on there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a big church, and they would not just ask, like, they might ask for volunteers for like the nursery to take care of the babies, but they would not ask for volunteers to lead a large youth group. They would get a youth pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce said the church used to be a school. Yeah, I think that is the thing. So it's huge.
I think, yeah.
It's fucking
Which
big.
is kind of weird, actually.
It's a big building.
Used to be a school.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. It does say that. So, like, imagine like a high school, how big that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is just that, like, it's so strange to me. Like, maybe Dick Bohr, just didn't feel like doing the research. He is ignorant of the legal system, or he's being willfully ignorant for the sake of the plot, But he can't feign ignorance of how churches work. He works for the Moody Bible Institute. He's playing dumb.
I mean,
and I don't like that. He spends the whole book playing dumb.
Well, hang on.
To make his
He
story.
might also be a faker. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe he's like a non-believer who's just snuck his way in for an easy check.
I mean,
I'm sure he didn't sneak his way in to summon a
unlikely.
demon.
I mean, maybe.
Unlikely, but at the same time, it's also like it's surprisingly difficult.
I mean, I'm joking.
About the map.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, I think it's weird. I think that's probably...
He doesn't seem to understand how churches work. He doesn't seem to understand how police works.
Or like I said, he's just playing dumb to make the story work. Like he wrote the whole story out, and
every time he comes, that doesn't really make any sense. He just goes, it's a kid's book. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. He just hand waves it, and that's why we ended up with a bunch of stupid nonsense that doesn't correspond with how anything works. Like, not the legal system, not the way people work. Again, like, most people, if their kid gets beat the fuck up, they'd be freaking the fuck out. They'd be want to find out who it is, but his mom's just like, oh well.
Yeah.
One thing, because we talked a bit about it before, about how Bean gets shit on throughout most of the book, and probably still my favorite scene of him getting shit on is when Shirley's mom tells him. Like, that for me was such a highlight.
Poison my mind, like
poison my mind, like you poisoned.
Yeah.
Like, that was so awesome.
That's how adults talk to children, man.
Yeah, that's how I talk to my nieces. I
Like,
tell them they won't poison my
Poison
mind.
your mind.
Yeah, like
They're
okay,
they're like,
okay.
Yellow, will you play with us? It's like I won't let poison my
Like I get the other kids. Well, okay, let me finish. Uh, I get the other kids being assholes to
Oh.
Beanie because the church group under the Egglestons is so cool and awesome, and they don't want that taken away from him. Which to the aside, don't they like Beanie for everything he's done in the previous books? That's kind of ridiculous. But I don't get the adults treating him like such shit. Like Shirley's mom was mentioned. Johnny Farthing, when Bean talked to him, was just like, haha, that's what the Egglestons told me you would say. Like, fucking, like, did the Egglestons hypnotize him? Like,
Yeah,
it seemed like just, and that was what really pissed me off about, like, those 3 or 4 chapters, around the middle of the book. There's 3 or 4 chapters around the middle of the book where it was just Beanie getting shit on over and over and over and over by different people. Because it was like, why does everyone just side with the Egglestons immediately?
Wait a minute. So we have a story in which a beloved main character is inexplicably hated and treated by shit by literally everyone else, even when it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's a Bean betrayal story.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
Oh,
It's a Bean betrayal story.
The
I can't
preceding,
believe people would betray Bean.
except you know what? I think in every book, he ends up doing something that causes everyone to, and he has to win them all back.
That's the difference. In all the other books, he does something that causes everybody to hate him. Like he writes a really shitty article.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Right? In this one, all jokes
He's
aside,
the victim.
Bean is basically the victim. I mean, he says some shitty things here and there, and
But I mean,
kind of a jerk to people, but like not that bad. Like certainly not bad enough that he deserves to be beat up or
have alcohol poured up his fucking nose
or like nearly murdered. I think on 3 or 4 occasions.
Yeah,
he gets physically hurt a lot.
By the way, in the Imgur album, for well, I was gonna say in the Imgur album for the
memes,
not the memes, the end credit sequence. I wrote the descriptions there, and in it I kind of counted off, and I didn't realize until I had started writing those just how many times he's nearly gets jumped and or nearly killed. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, I read it through as well. Like I read
how he can get jumped like 4 different times and still not tell the cops fucking anything.
It's a reversing switch. It is a reversing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets bean stalked.
Yeah,
by the way, again, thanks to Matthew Brightside for those really great end credits.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I don't want to get too far off track, man. Like you talk about ink switch. I went to read that the interlude chapter again, and there's like that part where it keeps mentioning how he improved everyone's lives.
Yeah,
and that just trips me out every time. It's just like because it keeps escalating. It's just like thanks to him, Rarity became the best fashion designer in the entire world. Thanks to him, the bakery became the best bistro in Ponyville. Thanks to him, like this, that, or the other. Thanks to him, technology was improved. Thanks to him, music was improved. His album was the best-selling album of all time. And it's
best-selling album of all time. Yeah. I forgot about the fucking album shit.
Yeah, right. There's so much to forget.
That wasn't even his music.
Yeah, nope. Exactly. But Bean's the exact opposite. Everything Bean does just gets shut down.
He does, like he doesn't really do much of anything, and everybody's like, "Oh, fuck off, Bean."
Yeah.
Everyone
like
just dunks on him.
I mean,
you ever
like
just seen a child and you're a fully grown adult and you just dunk on that child and you just like shit all over that child.
Can I
just wipe your hands and you're like all in a good day's work of
Can I tell you guys a story about Can I tell you guys a story about my brother that relates to what you just said?
Did your brother dunk all over a child?
He did worse, actually. So Connor's heard this story before. We were at a gas station. And Dave you know the story now. Yeah. So we're at a gas station, and Dave was filling up gas, and I was sitting in the passenger seat waiting for him to finish up because he was driving, and a kid walked up to us and he shouted at my brother with a point, and he shouted, "Terrorist,"
Wow.
which is rude, but doesn't warrant the reaction my brother gave, which was to punch the child in the face,
What
Oh.
the fuck?
throwing the kid to the ground, and then Dave got in the car and we drove off.
Oh my
Jesus,
god.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
And I said, "Why?" And he said he called me a terrorist. And I was like, "That's not a good reason.
It says
It's a Dave reason.
It's a very Dave reason.
Are you insane?
I love
You
how we
struck
just,
a child."
There's two reoccurring non-STC characters that keep showing up in these podcasts. It's Dave and Chisu. Dave and Chisu
we
show
have
up
s-
over and over again in these stories.
We have so
Rumor-
many stories about
rumor-
both of them.
rumor has it that if Dave and Chisu entered the same room,
like
Oh,
the
boy.
world ends. Like there's
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
government programs to make sure that Dave.
Well, the
and
world would
Chisu
definitely
never-
end if Dave and Chisu agreed on something.
Yeah.
That would be the end of the world.
Oh no.
I'm sure they could find some common.
Oh,
I mean-
I'm sure. That's why I'm keeping them as
You think
far
Chisu
away.
would punch a child if a child got on his
Bob,
nerves?
that is
No,
your
yeah, well-
responsibility to the world is make
Matt.
sure they never meet.
Yeah.
Chisu would have to leave his room.
But I mean, like, if a child entered his room and a child annoyed him, do you think that Chisu would punch the child?
Yeah,
Hold on, Emma Kirsten says that kid thinks he's a detective now. He was probably just like, "Damn, I was right. He was a terrorist."
well, I was going to say the same thing. I bet that kid was like, yeah, that guy was a terrorist. He
Yeah.
punched you in the face.
Um,
Oh,
Yeah.
Karina,
When I
wait,
say kid, by the way, when I say kid, I mean he was half of Dave's height.
yeah.
Oh no.
He was a child.
Oh no.
wait a
Classic
minute.
Dave.
Karina's right. We forgot.
We did forget.
I mean, I never forget.
That is
Right.
true.
And you know what? And
I'm always saying his name
me
to
if I-
myself.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, but I think shows up in a recent video, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
a video released real soon. We have been getting
Yeah.
some questions in the chat about the book. So
Oh, okay.
Jumper the Frog, I believe that's just like the Peter Piper da-da-da-da-da. It's just the incantation to summon the demon and not
Well,
like the
how
demon's
does a
name.
nursery rhyme sound like the name? It's not the name of the demon. They're
It's an
saying
incantation.
he said. I think it's in the chapter called Peter Piper.
Yeah.
I went through the entire story again so that I could find out who voiced what. Newsflash: everybody changed,
Yeah. Except for Bean.
except for like Bean and like Dave.
Oh,
Yeah.
And,
No,
what's
Joel
his name?
changed. I was Joel initially, and then Matt became Joel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's his name?
At least I was no one.
Mr. the old man. I was the old man the whole
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the pastor.
Pastor.
time.
But basically, like when Urga says it, he just says it sounds vaguely like the phrase "Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers," and he just kind of starts saying that,
Yeah.
and that works.
It's not the name. It's like
It's basically
It's a spell.
coincidence. You know, it could have been
yeah.
any phrase.
It sounds like it, so it tricks Urga into summoning the demon.
It's
Right.
so weird
yeah.
to me that you could just
Bit of a-
say a phrase that sounds like an incantation, but
Hey,
yeah,
it would
Hey.
be like
a very imprecise incantation.
excuse
I'd
me,
like to
Matt.
say.
You can't keep talking and also type in the chat. Dave is the Chisu of brothers.
Dave is the Chisu.
Like I'm
brother.
supposed to just ignore that.
I didn't even. know
Dave is
that.
not the Chisu of brothers. Given the choice, if I had to choose which one of them to kill, I had one bullet, Dave, Chisu in front of me, I'd kill myself.
all right. I was gonna say real quick though with like the whole incantation thing. You know what it's like? So imagine this. Imagine you go to another country. Let's say you go to China. You go to Hong Kong, and you go to a McDonald's in Hong Kong, and you listen to the guy in front of you order. And then you go up and you just try to phonetically copy what he said. Do you think you're going to get the same order, or are they going to just look at you like,
I mean,
you know?
almost
And,
certainly you would get a confused stare
It's just. It's
Yeah.
like. It's
Because
like
so what I'm saying is
on a
that like,
number of different levels. Yeah,
his incantation sounding similar shouldn't work because he's not saying the
shouldn't
actual
work at all,
word.
That's
yeah.
what I was saying. It's the loosest incantation ever. It doesn't need to be precise. You just
yeah.
say
It
something
doesn't.
sounds
You don't need
like
to
it.
precisely pronounce the syllables at all. It's not a tonal language because, like, you know, like ma and ma mean two different things in in Mandarin because it's a tonal language. And
That's why
you know,
Mandarin is fucking hard to speak.
well, it's hard for English speakers to learn, but then
Well,
so clearly this demon language isn't a tonal language, because otherwise it would be very difficult for him to get it. And he manages to get it consistently. Every time he goes with the Peter Piper thing, it works.
Yeah.
Like he does it more than once in the book.
At the very least, it successfully tricks Urga into starting the whole ritual.
And it's like,
And completing
so
it
clearly
too at
it's
the
not
end.
because she's stupid, right? Like maybe it's possible she's just stupid, which would be insane. So like let's throw out the idea that she's stupid. So that means that it's something she can't control. Anyone saying a phrase similar just summons the demon.
You know what I think it is? I think so. You got to think about it. All right, so like demons, maybe it's like a thing like demons can't come to the world unless they're summoned. Maybe like so. Obviously the demon wants to possess people. That's something demons like to do in the Bible. It's like that's what they want.
Right.
So maybe he's just like fudging the demon rules, and it's just like, oh, is that someone muttering my incantation? And it's like, and another demon's like, that's not your incantation. That's a little off. He's like, nope, that's totally it. I'm going.
Yeah, I think that was it, right? You heard that too, right? Okay, I'll see you guys when I get back.
Yeah, I honestly, that is potentially believable. Like you could...
Another, see, Emma's saying, I think the idea is that the demon lives inside her, so once someone calls out the demon, it immediately takes over. We're not disagreeing with that. We're saying, why is it that calling out to the demon, all it takes is him mispronouncing the words? And my thought is, it's possible that, and this would be kind of a stretch, right? This would invent a lot of cosmology about the world that J. Edgar Beanpole lives in. But maybe the way the demons work is that they sign a contract with you, and the contract is like, when you hear this phrase, and it's an English phrase, when you hear this phrase, or whatever language you speak, then you allow the demon to come through. And then it's like supposed to be like the actual phrase is Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. And that is the summoning phrase. And that's just what they agreed on because it's an uncommon phrase for them to use in day-to-day life. Yeah. But she wants to be able to access it quickly.
Yeah. Well,
I guess.
Maybe have a quick dial to
like that, demon. Or like, and I like the idea of like a demon. The demon's like locked away, but he's looking for any chance he can to come out. And
yeah.
So
I heard the word pepper. I swear to God, I heard the word pepper. I'm going. I'm just going.
Yeah. So she's at the supermarket, and like someone's like trying to decide like first to buy, and all of a sudden she's like.
Yeah. Well,
I have no idea how to say this person. Well, you go ahead.
If we're developing the lore of demon logic in the J. Edgar Beanpole series, which any thoughts beyond just like, oh man, they say the sacred ritual evil and it summons the demons. Anything more beyond that is we're inventing that. Then I like the idea of this demon's trying so hard to get summoned, and then if even one character just kind of like prays to God in the same room, it can't happen.
Yeah.
Because Beanie thwarted like 2 efforts by just
thwarted like 2 summonings
by just closing his eyes and praying real hard.
And you guys remember he's sitting underneath that fucking jacket and hiding himself. And
I will never forget the jacket.
And then hiding under the jacket, and then they go like, somebody, let's find Bean. He's stopping the thing. I don't know why he talks like that now. And Bean goes, haha, they're never gonna catch me. And they're like, does anybody see Bean in here? And then he just stands up and he goes like, I'll get the lights. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like he thinks it's a real cool like sudden twist, and then he gets beaten up, doesn't he?
Well, no, that doesn't happen immediately then, right? Like I'm pretty sure at that point the chapter cuts and then it's like a new chapter, and we're to expect nothing happened, I guess.
I thought he gets thrown out. Either way, that's not important, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that he immediately like...
He just reveals himself. Yeah,
he just gives up the ghost.
Surprise.
Yeah. Bob Lone says, and they never attempted to do it while Beanie wasn't there. They could have just called a secret meeting at their house or somewhere else. Which is actually kind of what they do with the weenie roast. Except he's there for the planning of the weenie roast.
No. And then,
maybe they just thought they would eventually get Bean on board. I don't know how.
Well, I mean, I agree with that because once Bean got jumped by Buddy and beaten up, he did return to the meetings, now all beaten up, and he did say he kept his
acted
head
like a
down
dope,
for a
yeah.
couple sessions. Yeah, or something.
You know, honestly, I like. I think as time goes on, my favorite part more becomes the planning for the weenie roast.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone bring 3 weenies. Some of you bring 3 weenies. Some of you bring 3 buns. Some of you bring chips, and some of you bring dip.
Yeah.
Don't assign it out to anyone. Like I said, there was a chance that you would just end up with 40 bowls of onion dip.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Just straight up eat the dip.
All the onion dip. Just stick their fingers in the onion dip.
Also, just I like it. Wasn't it a thing for the weenie roast that I forget if it was a thing that was in the actual book or if it was
Dip
just
party.
but it was also like a thing, yeah, that for the dip party, you're right. Where it's like where everybody ate beforehand
Oh
Yeah.
before coming
Oh my
to the
God!
weenie roast.
Who the
Yeah.
fuck comes to a barbecue / weenie roast and eats beforehand?
They do.
Yeah,
Every
yeah. So
kid
they ate dinner and they went to be a potluck, and then after the potluck they threw a barbecue. So even if they didn't eat beforehand, they're still doing 2 dinners.
Yep.
And they're hungry, growing kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, maybe that
All those
goes to
young
show.
people need to eat, man.
Maybe that goes to show just how truly crazy Dick Bohr is. Because, like, even outside of his ignorance of how everything works, the fact that he could even write a scene like that and think, yep, this is something that would happen. People would eat dinner before going to a dinner where a secret dinner was being done right afterward.
You're right. It is gluttony.
Oh my gosh,
Holy
it is
crap.
sin.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all
no.
vegans.
And like, you
Well,
know,
I mean,
Jumper the Frog asked, "Who thinks that Joel drank the spiked punch?" And you know, it doesn't really matter whether Joel drank the spiked punch because regardless, putting it in his fucking flask was gonna make it inadmissible. Like that's not gonna work.
Also,
Like,
I love the
If
fact
while
that-
you're taking the activity, you can tell what the defense is gonna say, maybe don't take that activity. Do a different thing.
No.
You
Maybe
dumb
be
cop.
You dumb idiot. You
Yeah,
imbecile.
and then when he decides to do something, he's like, "Is that we're going to go and let the pastor handle it?" And how does the pastor handle it? By throwing this fucking like beanie roast.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's still amazing that, you know, speaking of letting the pastor handle, it's still amazing that Shirley just for no reason just lays it all out,
Absolutely no reason at all.
you know, with the pastor. And still the pastor is like, let's see what the kids who are clearly,
Yeah.
you know, convinced by these demon worshippers, let's see what they think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're an unbiased perspective.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great how the pastor, who is supposed to be kind of the one character on Beanie's side, could not have thrown any more of a kangaroo court.
I know. He
Because
didn't
he wasn't even going to let Beanie
It
speak
was-
until Beanie demanded it.
It was
got a
straight
big
up
list.
malicious.
He got a big gathering of kids to sit there and dunk on Beanie.
I mean,
And then when they got done, he was like, "All right, that sounds good. Let's."
he was
wrap it up. What do
actively
y'all think?
he was actively lazy about it. He's like, okay, look, I don't want to actually have to find someone qualified to lead the youth group. So I'm just going to throw it to literally fucking everyone. Oh, what do you know? Some randos came. Great. Now I can check the fuck out and not pay attention to the youth group at all. And even when problems are arising, I can just go, la, 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 I don't know. And then finally, when he's shown the problems to his face, he just goes, what's that? Everybody thinks it's fine.
What
Hey,
do you think,
I
young
guess it's
people?
fine.
These kids
Sorry,
say,
Bean.
"Hey,
There's nothing I can do. My hands are tied.
Like
I'm
like
really busy, Bean. I'm overstretching myself."
like being literally has to summon a demon to
Yeah.
get shit done.
Exactly
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
He had to do it. There was no other way this could have ended.
Bob Lone said, remember when Joel said that Shirley and her mom should be trounced for allowing her to go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rounds.
I mean, written again by an ancient relic.
Yeah.
So,
Connor,
by our good old
do you
friend
think we could-
Penis Drill.
Do you think we could go through the album of memes?
Sure.
that were made. A lot of these were made by Stannis Demanis, Roose Bolton here.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole town was literally. It felt like that was a lynch mob.
And then I also linked the.
Okay, hold on.
I also linked the other thing. So
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
Shit.
also that. Yeah, as Jumper the Frog points out, everybody throws Bean a dirty look in front of everybody.
And then they
And no one
leave.
cares.
And
Yeah.
then they leave as soon as the demon's summoned, but Dick Boar apparently forgot.
yeah, they
left.
bounce. They bounce
Yeah.
so fucking fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, party's over." Come on, you
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's true. He didn't like it.
It's a good book review.
All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, we got some memes here, so let's check these out.
And if you have your own memes, feel free to send them in the public Discord. We love them. It
Yeah.
makes us feel great.
That's a good. That's a good meme.
Excuse me. 2 master degrees, and who taught writing for over 40 years. Citation, please. Now, granted, I know what the citation is. It's on his website, but
That
Citation
doesn't sound
for
like a
that.
reputable.
citation for that, please.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a reputable source.
That doesn't sound like the ridiculous I know.
No, the ridiculous I know. I
I'm
mean,
trying to find on his website where it gives his like credits.
His
at it.
credits,
His
it's
credentials, yeah.
about...
His credentials, yeah.
Should I jump back to the website?
No.
No,
Let's
okay.
keep
I'm trying to
going
find it
through
on
them
my
in
own,
maze.
'cause I
All
wanna-
right.
I want to read it again.
It's Professor Dick Boar.
Yeah, maybe we can cover that
Well,
after.
it's the second tab from the bottom, right above download books. Professor
you-
Dick Boar.
Yeah.
It has his
Oh, he's
self-portrait
got
and gives
so
him all
many
his-
awards and honors. Holy shit!
Yeah,
No,
he's
So much teaching experience. You were
his
kidding. Oh
beautiful
my god!
self-portraits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling. Keep
Yeah,
scrolling.
so
we
who
can go to
would
that
win in a
later.
fight? Some dudes on the internet or that guy?
I
Yeah.
mean, the fight has occurred. You decide.
All right.
That's true.
This
It'll
post
go
was
to
made by
decision.
Beanie
Yeah.
I mean, this post was made by Beanie Squad.
Beanie Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beanie Squad.
I
Just-
get
Yeah, we were talking about weird gender pride flags, and this one's real good. For insufferable people. I like that it is still based on the American flag.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Very
insufferable
patriotic.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No denying that.
Yeah.
I like that I can say that without including myself.
Yeah.
Are you hot, or is it just that I burned your hand?
weird?
Fucking Beanie Squad. Dab.
Beanie Squad's out there. They're doing
Fucking
shit.
Beanie Squad. Oh, Jesus.
I do love the
When
Beanie
you force
Squad.
someone to summon Satan, uh-oh, you freaking moron. You just got beamed.
Dagger Prince to totally be.
Oh man.
You freaking moron.
God, I forgot about the bean
I love
meme.
the spelling of frickin'.
Yeah.
You
Oh
freaking
yeah, I remember
moron.
this one.
So
This was his prediction for the final chapter.
Yeah, don't come to youth group tomorrow.
Oh no!
Man, what a book it would be.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
It would,
kind
that
of,
would
he
be
did something
that would
similar.
Be
He summoned
an
a
amazing.
Yeah. Beanpole spoken church today.
Yeah. Oh, we got some anime.
Yeah, it's just some anime.
oh.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea.
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
I did
Okay.
like it.
It's
I don't
reaction
like it.
face. Okay, so we got some memes by Levi now.
Levy, actually.
Levy, sorry.
Yeah. This book is a real page turner, but for all the wrong reasons. That's a comment on.
man.
on the
The
Mr.
Phallus
Steele for the
Bicentennial.
Phallus Bicentennial.
Mhm.
I'm
God,
still
it's been
working
a
on
long
getting out
time
that.
since I heard about the Phallus Bicentennial.
Yeah.
Well, he
Well, I
needed
mean, you only hear about it twice a year.
You only hear it about it twice a century,
Yeah.
so of
Yeah,
course.
actually, we got quite a ways. We got,
century, yeah.
almost 30
Why
more
the fuck
years
did I say
before we
year?
have to publish. So we're
Right,
good.
right, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we're collecting your stories for the 2050 edition.
yeah.
of the Phallus
All
Bicentennial.
right,
Yeah.
and then
That's
oh, Bob made a meme.
Yeah. No, that one I made. And
Oh,
then this
yeah.
one I made as well, Curling Cunt.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was wondering who made that.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh. That's quite a book.
Well, I mean, the only problem is that a cunt is who solves crimes.
I mean, you know, a dick, a cunt, whatever.
Yeah.
Consolus bore.
Cuntulus Boar? What the fuck?
What a dick! A
That
cunt.
is the
Yeah.
most disgusting thing you could have possibly said.
I love saying words.
sounds
Hello,
sometimes.
so gross.
hello, everybody. We're the Still Doing It Collective. Say
Yeah,
Cuntulus
Boar.
Boar.
Oh god.
His last name is Borer, Yella. Did you think about
Yes,
that before you
I-
said
Well,
cunt?
well, I mean,
No,
well, yeah.
I know. That was. yeah,
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you
at
find
least
more
I
objective?
turned it. At least I turned it into cuntulus.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That-
before it was Dick Borer.
Yeah.
That's pretty
His
bad.
name
too.
is terrible either way.
So I mean, what would you prefer
Dick
to
is
have?
still a name. Cuntulus is not.
I mean, yeah, it could be.
Okay.
You
Actually, this
don't
brings up
know.
my point. This brings up something I wanted to point out about how every character in this story's name is fucking terrible.
Mm.
Like, oh god, Grunt. That's in one of the books. There's a guy who's just
Yeah,
named as
there's a
Grunt,
character named
and
Grunt.
it's not
Yeah.
a nickname. That's his real fucking name.
Well, I mean, Matt, you have no room to talk. Well, actually,
What?
I,
Your
no, I
son's
should
name is Grunt.
I should correct. That's what we named your son.
Everything else said I was gonna name my son Grunt, and I
Grunt
mean like
Travis.
Beauregard. I guess that one's okay, but what
Yeah,
was
that's
the-
a
Beauregard's
human
good.
name.
that's a
Yeah.
human name.
Yeah,
What
but
was, and Beanpole.
yeah.
Beanpole and shit.
I
And then
think-
I was making a big deal about it, and then I remembered that the guy who wrote this name is Dick Borer. Oh yeah, Joel Mole, fucking Joel Mole. That's his name, Joel Mole.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a
His name
nickname.
is Joel
Not a
Moore.
nickname. His parent, he came out of the womb, fresh out of the
Also-
womb. His
also
parents looked down
Stannis-
at him. They looked straight down at their child that had just been born. They looked at each other and they said, "Joel Mole. That's what I want to call my son. Fucking Joel Mole."
I
Also,
bet his middle name is like
Stannis
Hole or
points out-
something.
Yeah.
Stannis
And
points
then
out
I was
Buddy
like, I guess
Hickman.
his real name is Dick Borer, so maybe shitty names is all he knows.
I'm sorry.
Because his name is Dick
Oh,
Borer.
that's
Matt,
really
hold
good,
on,
Emma.
Matt, hold on. Emma
What?
Christensen, he does have a version of the basketball book, but for girls. I resent the idea that girls are unable to relate to Beanie because the truth is that no one can relate to Beanie.
Yeah. But yeah.
And when you're talking about like names that just really fucking suck, I gotta give it like this is like a kind of a late bloomer, but like I rewatched, I edited Night Watchers, all the episodes, but I edited that last one, and then I rewatched it afterwards, and it hit me like twice. Once when I was like thrice actually. Once when we were reading it, once when I was editing it, and once during the rewatch. That there's this fucking kid named Charlie Brown, and all the adults just laugh at him
Yeah,
for
but
being
Bob,
named Charlie
and-
fucking Brown.
and as I said there, you may have noticed everyone in the town is a fucking asshole.
Yeah, everybody fucking blows. They
Yeah.
all suck. And like, I can't believe it. Like, his name is Charlie Brown. The kid's trying to own it. There's no Lucy in this town. My name's Charlie Brown too. And these fucking losers in the church are like, ha ha! This fucking loser's named
Guys.
Charlie Brown. Like, what the fuck is
Maybe-
wrong with you?
maybe
He's
he-
a child.
And I want to say, like, I love their idea that so Dick Borer is like, he wants to
Piece of
write a
shit.
version of one of his books for girls, and I mean, and it is a thing, like, obviously it's we should all try to be able to relate to people outside of gender, but kids, kids are kind of like that, the whole no girls allowed, no boys allowed clubhouse thing.
Yeah.
So that's a reason why you do have books for boys and for girls, because a lot of times kids are just like that. They don't want to read a book that's not about
Some
a character
people
of
never
the same
grow
gender.
out of it, but
Yeah.
And some people never grow out of it. They only want men's or men's
Yeah, their name are
entertainment.
Dick Borer.
And that's fine. It's whatever. We don't need to get into all that. But for kids, that's how they are. So he wants to write a book that will be for girls too. Fine idea. Okay. But why? But I cannot get over the fact that rather than writing a new book, he just took a pre-existing book and changed the gender of the main character.
I mean, listen.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I think I missed where this started. What book is this?
I think it's
Sick-
Think It Becky P.
Think it Becky P. It's just a rewrite
Oh.
of basketball.
Okay. I'll.
Basketball Hawk, yeah.
Oh,
so
version
you
of
see-
Basketball Hawk for girls. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
A version of
there it
Basketball
is,
Hawk
yeah.
for girls. Wow, you weren't joking. It just says a version of Basketball
Uh-huh,
Hawk for
for
girls.
girls.
Yeah. So like I said,
What?
nothing wrong with wanting to, write something that's, that girls might
For a
like to.
different audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to just rewrite one of your old books is an incredible level of laziness.
Guys, did I tell you we're actually gonna have the Steel Donut 4 girls, and what we're just gonna do is we're gonna get 4 girls to just like verbatim read quote our video back again.
I'm
Verbatim.
so glad. I'm so glad
For
Stannis
girls.
brought this up because he he sent me a message, and he just he responded, or he just said this. He took a screenshot from Sink It Becky P. This is dialogue from the book.
Oh God, I'm
And
sorry.
he
Quote,
sent it to me.
Hey!
Pull it up.
Hey, we can be like our old friend J. Edgar Beanpole. Football detective, Danny said. Soccer sleuth, Joseph said. Volleyball spy, I said. Night watcher, we
Excuse
all
me?
said together in a
Oh, yeah.
tone of voice. We all laughed. Bean had written books about us.
What the fuck?
Sorry, it took me
Yeah.
a while to get that.
So you're telling me
What?
you're telling me that Night Watcher exists in the same universe? The
Fucking
book
hell.
exists in the same universe.
exists in the universe
Of the other book.
of the book.
Yeah.
You're telling me
We're reading
You're
books
telling me
that are 2 levels deep.
You're telling me that Bean wrote a fucking book about the time that the entire town dunked on him and everyone liked that book?
Yeah.
Bean wrote a fucking book about the time that the entire town like turned their back on Bean. And the entire town likes this book too.
Yeah, this is just like that Animorph story where like
No, I was about to say it's like the fucking Animorphs.
what's that fucking K.A. Applegate, you bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, Applegate, you sold us out, you wretch.
You rat
You
shit
doomed us all.
motherfucker. You've doomed us.
all.
But no. I think the implication is that he'd written books about us, as in us, all the kids at the school.
Wait,
As if like if I wrote a book where I was the main character and I wrote 4 books, and then Bob, Connor, Matt, and Yella looked at those books, they'd be like, he wrote books about us, as in us as a group.
well,
That's
sure.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's not my problem with it.
Well, no. I was addressing what Emma was saying in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
I see.
Okay, I thought Emma was okay. Yeah, no, I don't think he took credit for things that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
other people did.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you-
mean, I guess you know what.
He did the opposite of took credit. He called everybody out.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go look in the book.
Especially the time that everybody fucking died.
For the
Hey, remember,
context
I wrote a
of
book
this.
about that time that everyone dunked on me, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody was so mean, and I summoned a demon. It's pretty,
Uh-huh.
pretty sweet actually.
I'm writing a book about that time that the fucking cop in our fucking town would not do his job and
yeah, maybe
press
he just
charges, arrest people serving alcohol to minors.
I remem-
I wrote a
yeah, he
book
just
about
called
that.
out Joel Knoll and like the pastor as well.
I also like, actually speaking of things, of events of Night Watcher,
Real
I
quick,
do
I'm
also
just gonna-
like that he wrote a book about him beating the Satanists and then the Satanists getting off scot-free anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He's a good Christian, and I guess something turned the other cheek. I don't know.
Turn
No,
the other
yeah.
cheek and summon a demon.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is that like in all of these books, people usually don't face any consequences. Like
Oh, good.
I've read the other ones. It's pretty much always just a moral victory. It's never a
I mean,
legal
that-
victory.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the best kind of victory, right?
Being
Yeah.
technically right is the best kind of right.
Yeah, there you go. It's like that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Can we go through those end credits pictures?
Can you link me to them?
I linked it in the Steel Donut private. It's the last thing I linked. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I wrote these little descriptions under each one.
Yeah.
I did that for the gallery of things for what was that movie? Thunderprints.
Oh,
as well.
okay. So
But
yeah, so
yeah,
this is for
we don't have to read the descriptions. I just
yeah.
Again, this is all except for obviously the cover of the book. These were
No, that was also drawn by Matthew.
also drawn by Matthew Brightside, I think, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Does
so
Imager not like links?
I guess not.
broken.
I corrected that and it just uncorrected it again. So
Weird.
Yeah. Copy, paste, remove space.
so yeah,
Nice.
each one of these, you don't need to show our caption on there. It's just the
oh, okay. Yeah. What do you want to do? Like show them
just the image.
Okay.
You can just click on the image, yeah.
Oh.
Open it up,
Okay. What?
I believe.
No. Okay.
No. Okay, never mind. It zoomed
Yeah,
out.
it's in like super high res, so that if somebody wanted to download it, they'd be able to get like a pretty high res. Yeah, I really like how Bean turned out. He looks extremely Bean-like. He has a
looks
popped
very-
collar because on the cover of the book he has a popped collar.
Yeah. Just to
Yeah.
refresh.
Because
That's
he's swag.
yeah. So
He does have a pop collar. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And then like, I gave these descriptions. Connor and Yella and I wrote these descriptions for what the picture should be, but we left it pretty much up to Matthew Brightside to interpret what characters looked like and stuff like that. So I think these came out like amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. Very well done. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the quotes under each of these.
We
photographs
found a
are
quote
from
that
the
was
book.
appropriate. And the idea that I wanted to have was that these are like Polaroid snapshots of Bean's life, and he's writing notes at the bottom of them. That was kind of the idea I had in mind. I don't know how well that came through, but that's what was intended.
So yeah, it's kind of just taking people back through the book. So this was chapter 1.
Yeah. Although technically, I don't think it's 1-to-1 chapter to the number, but there are 19 pictures and 19 chapters.
Right.
Yeah. There's I believe 8 chapters skipped, and there's a chapter that has 2 pictures
Yeah.
or something.
So
Yeah. Here, just go
Or
through.
laugh here if my public insists.
I'll
It's
just
fucking
I'll
terrible.
just bring it up. We kind of noted that those weird asides he does, or those beanieisms, aside from I think even including I didn't like it. He
Yeah, a
kind
lot of it just drops off
He
by the
kind of
end.
drops as it goes along.
Yeah.
Like
Early on in the book, he has a lot more unique turns of phrase that Bean says.
Yeah.
All the monkeys in the tree, all the monkeys.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
tree.
So chapter 2 is Buddy doing
Yeah.
a sick rap.
Yeah, and
Hey yo, come alive. Hey,
I
come
also
alive.
I don't think I mentioned
Hey
it.
yo, come alive.
Yeah.
I think I only mentioned
Hey,
this
yo,
to Connor.
come
I
on.
specifically asked Matthew Brightside to make sure that Buddy has a good dick bulge.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems
I have to
Because
say, I really-
originally there wasn't as much, and I was like, can we get a little bit in that? And,
Oh my god. That's great. Also, I do want to say I do very much enjoy that he has shutter shades.
Oh yeah, that was another.
yeah, he does.
The shutter shades and the
Yeah. All right. So
yeah.
then next.
Number 3 is again, Bean's typical reaction. He's just pissed.
He just
You know,
he
he
just
didn't
looks
like it.
that looks on disapprovingly.
I
Yeah, we
didn't
sang the
like it.
song with all the monkeys swinging in the trees. All the monkeys but me. What an asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone else enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
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 I love
Four.
this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Their faces are so red.
They're so red. It's so
It's
like
so
their ears are
animated.
red.
Very
They're
passionate.
like they're fucking going at it.
I feel like I don't know what I was gonna say. Never.
The only thing I would have wanted more is like literal pornography,
Oh
and
my
we couldn't
God,
have put that in the video.
God.
So I'm glad we went
Wow.
with this instead.
God.
Oh no.
I did specifically request that neither of them be wearing clothes.
Oh, good.
The guy was wearing a shirt originally, and I was like,
Guys,
no.
Did-
I-
one thing though
Oh.
about this one that
I'll
I
wait for this.
still just amazingly that is still to me very amazing is how incredibly angry, at least to me, the
Oh,
line
he looks.
I didn't want some social club with hugging and kissing comes across, especially when paired with this picture.
Yeah.
The only thing is I wish that it was like two guys kissing or something because
Well,
was
you can't
extra
prove it's
disapproving.
not two guys kissing.
he was extra disapproving of that.
I mean,
That's
gay
true.
contact.
I mean, you remember what happened? He saw two guys kissing, and he's like, even guys were kissing. I looked at Buddy, and Buddy mouthed to me, "So what?" And the rest of us went, "Yeah, so what?"
What's your point?
I mean, we probably shouldn't be throwing the soft orgy in the church, but
I just want to zoom in on
No,
how pissed
guys,
Bean
I
is.
just want to say I have to go now. I have to go to bed.
Oh,
It is
okay.
4
Oh,
a.m.
right.
I'm very sorry I have to duck out so early, but I'm like dying at my desk right now.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Rest in
Thanks
peace,
everyone
my
for
boy.
showing up. I will see you all later.
Right. So yeah, there's that
Yeah.
one.
I didn't want to look like a nerd.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Then, if you want to zoom in on this one, because there's a couple of details on here that I really like. First of all, the little drunk bubbles, and then also the fact that the wine is coming out of his nose and not his mouth.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's good. That's
Yeah.
very good.
That's
Also,
yeah.
the shakiness of his knees is very.
Yeah,
good.
he's shaky and stuff, but he's still got his arms crossed. He's like, "Eh, fuck you.
yeah.
What
I'm
do you
being Paul.
want?
I don't give a fuck about you."
And obviously,
I'm the one who disapproves here, old man.
Yeah, you disapprove of me. Well, fuck you. I disapprove of you
Yeah.
more.
and obviously, since it's our canon, the pastor's old as hell.
Yeah, of course. He's old as fuck.
Yeah.
He looks like he's dying.
It was
Yeah.
like Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah,
So-
pretty sure. One of our own young people.
One of our own. One of our own. Young
You know, I kind of wish we'd asked for a picture of the hand burning thing, but I think the reason we didn't was because the scene would be too complex to like depict
Yeah.
in a picture. You know.
Yeah. He like weaves through a pipe network or something, if I remember right. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh
so
my God.
then, yeah.
Yeah. Then there's the classic moment when.
when it turns out that Buddy is in fact blind.
Yeah, he's blind as fuck.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where Bean is, and I love how smug Bean looks.
Yeah.
I
I'll
mean,
zoom in on
yeah.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like,
God.
they'll never catch me.
It's just, yeah.
I mean,
just got a
listen,
coat.
he has a stealth camo index of like 100%.
Yeah,
Oh.
and the funny thing is that they never would have called.
Yeah, if he hadn't revealed himself.
Yeah.
Anybody see him?
I also really like when I was making this picture and like I was just copying the text onto the thing. We have to have all of us in tune and singing and waiting. I love the little jab at the kids who can't sing there. Like we have to be in tune, so maybe shut the fuck up.
I couldn't have
If you're
been
not gonna
there
sing in
'cause
tune, then shut up.
I'm tone deaf as hell, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yella thinks that, but he actually has the voice of an angel.
No.
Then here's Ms. Beauregard. Again, our canon, not the book's canon.
Yeah.
I do have to say that leg is very well drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
originally
That
there
is
was
the
no
leg of
fishnet
an
stocking.
ancient person.
And I think the fishnet stocking really sells it for me.
Yeah.
Also, Bean's face.
Yeah.
Can we get a
he's
zoom
smug
on
Bean
Bean's
again.
face? Like he's just.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm about to puke all over your carpet if you know what I mean.
Oh no.
Yeah. He had,
Yeah.
God, what was that flavor of ice cream? It was really dumb.
It was peanut butter goulash,
Peanut butter bubblegum goulash.
peanut butter bubblegum goulash. That was it. Yeah.
Dick Borer also doesn't have taste buds.
Yeah, Emma, isn't that thigh amazing?
That
Look
skinny
at that
ricotta.
thigh.
Damn, although no, look, I don't appreciate chat dumping on those sexy old ladies out there.
Yeah.
Just because you're old doesn't mean that you can't bang the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, more skin to grip.
No.
With that.
Some nice firm handholds.
Yeah. I mean, they're not firm at all. It's more like trying to grab jelly.
Well, no, your grip is firm.
Yeah, your grip is firm, not the leg, not the
Yeah.
leg skin.
Yeah.
Can we go back up to that one more time? I just want to really take it in again.
Okay.
No.
There we are.
Don't
Is
do
that
it.
skin? Gross.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, no, that's
Let's
the
just
leg.
move
It's
on.
like that classic thing from The Graduate.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh,
All right. Well, then this is
The
this
Sunday
is
school
getting
graduate.
Yeah.
beat up.
Yeah.
yeah. He doesn't approve of this.
He's looking right at us about that.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "How could you let me do that?"
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
I remember
we kind of wanted you to get it done.
I remember the stipulation we had for Matthew Brightside, and I like that happened, is that Beanie always has his arms crossed. So,
Yeah.
like, he's
I
getting
think-
beat up right here. And
There might be like 1 or 2 times when he doesn't, but for the most part, he has his arms crossed.
yeah.
99% of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
He
it.
doesn't
He
like
still
it. He doesn't
doesn't
like
like it.
anything.
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, most people don't like getting beat up.
Yeah. See, here's
Right.
Here's the first exception
Oh,
to
okay,
him.
yeah.
Him having his arms crossed because he's in the hospital and he's accepting Joel's number. And can I just get that zoom on Joel's face? By the way, we didn't specify what Joel looks like in any way, and I really like how Joel turned out. I like his
very
hair.
good.
It's
He's very good hair. That's
yeah, and he's like a little wink and the smile, like oh
I mean, he does say, "Here's my number, day or night."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these direct quotes. Yeah.
Day, especially night.
I mean,
Jumper says, "I bet you Joel Mole has the Varoom shirt underneath all that. You'll see. Maybe he does."
Yeah. Well, I
Later
mean,
in the end credits. If
guys,
you haven't watched the end credits, you should go back and watch them.
guys, the book is called Night Watcher.
That's true.
Yeah.
Day or night.
Yeah.
yeah, you can watch.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, maybe Joel has sex with people and Bean watches.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
Then here's Urga, very elaborate drawing.
Yeah.
I like
Demon
I like
circle and all that? That's
everything.
cool.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really
real dramatic, which is more than the book was, which is where she just wailed on, and that was supposed to
And
be.
he
I
goes,
mean, I get that, for a Christian book, that is
scary as hell.
But kind of to us, taking a step back, it's just like weird, that she just wails on, and everyone freaks the fuck out. Like,
Yeah, if you're not
Also-
already instantly terrified of wailing,
I like you.
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, so I guess I'll zoom in on a bit on that because
Yeah,
wow,
a
that's
good
pretty detailed.
you might notice that Bean still has the plaster on his cheek.
Oh yeah,
which is
yeah,
good.
yeah. We had him remain injured for a picture or two.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what happens
good.
when you get beat up.
beat
and
up.
jumped.
You get the shit beaten out of you.
It was as if a real demon was screaming through her.
It was almost like that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It
just
seemed
that.
as if Satan himself was the, hey, don't talk shit about my buddy Satan. He would never go to your stupid church.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
they'd ambushed me. I
Then-
had to get away.
Yeah, originally they
Yeah.
didn't have horns, and that was like a real quick addition at the end. I also like that they're carrying all kinds of different weapons, including a gun.
Yeah,
Can we get a zoom on those weapons?
Yeah,
It looks like a bat and then like a machete or a knife or something. And is that like a garrote wire?
down at the end.
Can we get a zoom in?
What Blake you cut out?
I said, can we get a zoom in on the upper left hand corner?
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that top left corner. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, there it is.
it's white space.
Yeah,
Love that.
Delicious.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so
I do like how Bean's facial expression is just very unimpressed.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, "Was this is all you
Yeah.
got?"
here we
Yeah.
go again.
It's
Oh,
like that,
This is like the 5th time today.
It's
it's like
oh,
that meme where it's like Bidoof versus like 6 legendaries.
Yeah. a
And
while
it's a fair fight.
It is, yeah.
a while back in chat, someone was asking questions about this scene, and like who jumped him? Why were they wearing masks? I guess it's implied that it was the rest of the church youth group, which
Yeah.
makes it especially heinous that everything just goes back to normal after that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially
He keeps going to it.
this. I mean, the whole weenie roast, spike the punch thing. Joel Mole is
that's
there.
one thing,
so,
yeah.
that's one thing. But halfway through the book, Beanie almost gets ganged up on and
Murdered.
killed by everyone else.
By
in
a
the
mob,
fucking church
basically.
group. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
nothing
mean, I
comes
was
of that.
there.
Yeah.
I admit to having tried to kill Beanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We jumped into
Good-
the story actually to try to make it happen.
Good point, Stannis. Everything back to normal.
Yeah. And it's especially egregious because this is followed up by like the 3 chapters where he just tells a whole bunch of adults and all of them brush him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but
All right. Let's see what's next. Oh yeah. This is where originally in the book it's a knife, but I like the gun better.
Yeah.
And also, I really like that Beanie's mom just looks like a normal lady, you know?
Yeah, just that could be your mom. Like,
That could be my mom, you know?
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't wear such a stupid haircut, but yeah, that could be my mom.
No, dude, I love that haircut.
That's Velma from Scooby Doo right there.
Yeah, when those MILFs come at me with the short hair, I'm like,
I mean, short hair, yeah, sure, but I just
Mamma
don't like the
mia.
Velma look.
Yeah.
yeah,
When you
Mamma
have
mia,
short
if you know
hair
what I
and an
mean.
AARP
Wink.
membership.
yeah.
But yeah,
kinda-
this really encapsulates how fucking stupid it was that he didn't like do anything about this.
Yeah.
and again, it's really dumb. His mom didn't do anything about it.
How much does Beanie's mom do in other stories?
Not much. She usually barely appears. But I really want to drive this point home that yeah, he should have done something, but he's also a kid, and ultimately, like it's his mom's responsibility.
Yeah.
Like,
Where's the scroll bar? Yeah. We got Johnny Farr
yeah,
here.
I agree that haircut is cute. Like I said, both
it's a good
sides.
haircut.
You know
Good.
who's not
That
cute?
man was Johnny Farr thing.
This one might be my favorite.
Yeah, Johnny Farthing. Can we get a zoom on that face?
Most
Oh
of-
boy.
He's
Mostly-
really captured something about Johnny that I was like when I said like dude standing in front of a shed full of small bikes. I didn't expect him to be so scary.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like the.
He's
My-
like the happy mask salesman,
Oh
But-
no.
but also a child napper.
But
Yeah.
even worse.
This one was so small.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's something about the eye shading and like the really wide grin.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah, you know what it is? He is the horror at Camp Jelly Jam.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
oh my gosh, wow.
He
And he doesn't
is.
he's not really dressed like a street preacher at all. He's dressed like everyone else. You almost imagine that when he moves his right arm out of the way, you'd see the word Varoom across.
Varoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, if he captures Goosebumps covers that well, then maybe I can finally get my The Real Goosebumps 2.0 series going. Unlike those Goosebumps 2000 pieces of shit, you know?
Oh,
Did you
Oh,
censor
man.
yourself by saying shit?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a
Okay.
powerful move.
yes.
Don't underestimate
play.
Connor's power.
It's a power play, yeah.
Yeah, power play.
Then again, Bean doesn't like it. He's flipping over the thing. You
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks like he's about to land like a sick backflip kick.
Yeah, really. I mean, he basically does.
Like you can imagine it, like whole anime thing, and the guy pushes him, and he just boom turns into a flip kick, and then lands on his feet, arms still crossed.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
arms are just crossed the entire move. Like, and then he
Yeah.
just looks up like, "That all you got?"
Like just unimpressed, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Then it is a
He
fair fight.
lands and then he just like with a simple jump, he lands back on the rail up here. And he
Yeah.
says, "What's next? You got any more for me?" And then like Buddy's like, oh my god, he's a fucking like crouching tiger, hidden dragon ninja. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
You know, I think in our talking about the book, our recap, I think him almost straight up getting murdered here. We talked more about the burning Buddy's hand thing and the sick chase scene afterwards than we did this whole insanity.
Yeah,
Like-
like he gets pushed over the back knee, and they're like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
The meeting.
Yeah, once again, he gets shit on. For,
Yeah, he gets shit on because apparently in their minds, there's no way that anyone could have pushed him. It's much more likely that he thinks it would be a fun goof to jump to his death. What a good joke, Bean.
Yeah, like he exists in a universe where he's just like the town, like he's essentially like the whipping boy, just the whipping boy of the town.
Yeah.
Like, and to where like everyone is just abusive. Anytime he does something, it's like his fault, because that's like an abuser's. That's a trope of like an abuser doing that,
yeah,
It's like, oh, you maybe hurt my hand punching you in the face, that sort of thing. And like that's literally what the whole town does to him. It's just like, oh, Bean, how dare you jump off that balcony trying to interrupt the meeting? like-
yeah,
Even shit that's obviously not him doing it, they try to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. True.
Like he could be drowning, and it's just like, well, way to go, Bean.
Why are you wasting all our water, Bean? And it's like, what the fuck?
Stop just hoarding all that water in your lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. That's what Joel Mole has on under his
His trench
coat.
No.
And I
Look at
love
that.
that he's still winking.
Look at that perfectly normal human shirt.
Yeah.
Double R, triple O. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made sure to spell that correctly. Varoom.
And when you see the vacation vid,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's that one.
although maybe we shouldn't, I mean, we stand out
That's true.
like everybody else.
That's true.
Looks like everybody else.
By the way, so we gave really, really brief descriptions of basically everybody. And for Shirley, I believe I just put some girl.
Some chick, I don't know.
Yeah, some chick, some girl, I don't know, something like that. And I really like how she turned out. I think she looks really cute. I like the hairstyle. And I don't know, I think she's just real cute.
It's like, the whole like adorable innocent trope.
Yeah.
She's
Even
just
though
looking
she-
down at the hot coals like, whoa, what is this?
Oh boy, here I go. And
She
like I
looks
really
very-
like
She looks very specific like someone. I like if you look at Bean's face though. Look how
Yeah.
pained he looks.
yeah, it's like he's angry. He's hurt that his church has come to this.
Like
Yeah,
honestly,
some-
like of all these pictures, that makes me want to give Bean a hug. I mean, look at how fucking distraught he is. All this shit he's been through, but this looks like it's just finally really broken.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
just
it's
finally like, oh my god, fucking.
I mean, it's a secret from the Far East. How anti-Christian can you get?
Yeah.
I do also want to say, I guess if I had to make one change here, I would say she probably shouldn't be wearing shoes. But I guess they did specify she was barefoot. But also, I absolutely love the torch she's carrying because it's not like a piece of wood that's on fire. It looks like the fucking like Statue of Liberty torch.
Yeah,
That's a good torch.
it's a proper torch.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a torch kind of torch.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
There's torch and then there's torch.
Yeah. It's a real torch. They spent money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, there's kind of a funny story about how this one came about. So when Matthew Bryson and I were discussing this one, I drew a really shitty stick figure diagram of what we wanted because our description wasn't that great. And then Matthew misinterpreted the description that I gave because I was originally intending for Shirley to be shrugging, and he thought that was the pastor. And so that's why the pastor's hands are up. But I think it came out even better than I initially had.
It kind of looks like she's hitting on the pastor.
Yeah, a little bit. And she's just
And
like,
he doesn't know
yeah.
how to deal.
He's
And it's
he's
just, what
like,
the
what?
fuck is this?
I mean, because instead of like shrugging, he looks like he's doing that. Like it almost seems like a meme from some time ago. It like reminds me of it. I don't know what it is, but it just seems familiar. Where he's like holding his
like the
arms out in
Jackie
front of
Chan.
him, like really like what? Ah!
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the rage comics kind of thing.
Also that beautiful smug face on Bean's
Yeah,
face.
and
Yeah.
Bean is smug as shit. Like he's
Dude.
just like, well, look at that. I told you she was doing demon shit.
I
Like,
told you they were doing some wild shit.
I just hope that in the unwritten book 5, Bean and Shirley get back together because they look like they make a cute couple.
Yeah. Maybe,
that reminds like that was another thing that I noticed again. It hit me twice on the edit and then on the rewatch where like Shirley kisses him on the cheek and then a bunch of adults fucking cheer. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
fucking weirdo creeps.
That's really
Fuck
weird.
you.
And
Yeah, that's
Stop
good.
cheering for children kissing.
They want to see them succeed. They were meant to be together.
yeah. They were the
OTP,
true.
my dude. It's
Yeah.
my OTP.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burley. Bean and
Oh.
Shirley. Or she.
I hate that.
Maybe that's why he looks, so sad in the picture above, because he's like, "Oh my God,"
My
like,
love.
yeah,
I
she's
can't-
about to
I
walk
can't
on hot
be with her.
coals.
She's a devil worshiper.
Yeah, again, like he looks so distraught. Like that. Like that's the sort of face you make when you're like going for your Oscar.
Yeah, like his heart was just broken.
Yeah.
Okay, but then this one, and then
And then we got, just the classic. Obviously, this isn't exactly how it happened in the story. A little bit of creative license.
The whole church was shipping them.
Yeah, the way, notice that I kept the spelling errors from the actual text. It says like few people picked up on blah blah blah. I bout at the end. Yeah, like
groaned intrigued.
Yeah, I didn't want to like assume what was there because I don't have a physical copy of the book, and also,
you gotta get. I mean,
that's what it is.
True to the source material that we worked from.
Yeah.
The sauce material.
Yeah.
The sauce material. There you go. You gotta have.
And there he is.
Gotta have that special sauce.
He's smug. He's happy. He's glad he summoned Baphomet or whoever.
Yeah.
For when I first saw this picture, I understand it now. But it looked like he summoned a demon that possessed his dog, and it just burst out of the doghouse.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Now I see it
like a doghouse. Yeah.
Well, now I realize it's symbolic. It's symbolically
just
showing a demon. But for a second, when I saw in Perspective, I'm like, a demon possessed his dog, and it's just like boom.
I mean, to be fair, demon dog.
My demon dog
would still be the best boy.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And then finally,
oh my gosh! So they make a movie called Demon Dog. The tagline is "Makes the good boys go bad."
Oh my god!
Because he's a good boy, and now he's a bad boy.
Yeah. That's probably going to be like the tagline of the
rad,
Cujo
Matthew.
remake or something.
Yeah, well, it'll be like with like Boss Baby. It's going to be a DreamWorks movie, Demon Dog.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we have the scholarships that Miss Beauregard sets up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the gold statue of Bean.
Yeah. Now we start any other long ones. Yeah, we're
Yeah, we've got some ideas in mind.
We'll resume our other videos once we're finished with that one.
Well, yeah. We'll have more long series coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's stuff in the pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've already started recording one.
It's just very viscous, so it moves a bit slowly.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I like it. So the thing is that you don't like it, but I like it very much. But Beanie also doesn't like it. So
Yeah.
I mean, Beanie doesn't like anything.
WWBT. What would Beanie think?
I didn't like it.
I didn't. Well, you know what the answer to that is,
Right.
I mean, that might as well just be IDLI.
Well, I mean, there's sometimes that he does like it, the times that he's, looking smug instead of disapproving.
Yeah. When he's like, macking on the old, like, he likes that.
Also, big request. Yeah, don't even talk about that. Yeah. So,
Well, big request backlog. It's not just the backlog sitting in the Discord, which we do need to go through, but also, we've got a lot of stuff on our doc already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Now this is here, I might as well ask everybody here. I was thinking about making a Google form, and it would basically just be like you'd put in your name and then like the name of the story that you want to submit, and then like a link to it, what section it's in, a brief description of what you think is so funny about it, and then it would just automatically populate a spreadsheet for us, so we could just go through and do it that way instead of having like request channel in the Discord, and then we could just put the link in the description, and people would be able to just submit stuff without having to leave a comment or whatever.
Well, ultimately, the problem is that like.
We still have to sort through it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about like the bigger picture problem, like also a big request backlog. Thing is, our backlog is huge, and obviously, unless we put out like 5 videos a day, it's only ever going to get bigger, and it's a nihilistic situation. We cannot cover. Even if we said we're not taking any more requests, we're going to cover everything we had. It would be years before we could even start taking more requests.
I mean, I think we have well over 100 stories listed that are on our to-do list, that are just like not even in the request section on Discord, and some of them are multi-parts, some of them are long multi-parts,
right?
But most of them are like single video things that I'm looking at the doc is like the bottom entry on it is row 318. Now there are some gaps there, but the gaps are like maybe at most like 20.
Yeah, actually, in answer Matthew, we actually have a poll as one of the Patreon things.
Yeah, but I mean
Patreon,
that's still polling.
Speaking of which, we need to set that up for next month.
Blake and I did. Well,
Yeah.
mainly
Oh, you
Blake,
did?
mainly Blake.
Yeah.
But that's still always things from our to-do and approved doc. You know,
Yeah.
we're talking about
Yeah.
how there's so many requests that, and I mean,
we'll get there.
yeah,
whatever.
but I mean,
Yeah.
like, especially, I don't know what to say. Yeah, especially with the request channel. Obviously, it's like, oh shit, we should do that, and then.
And channel only gets bigger, more requests just start coming in. So I
and
mean,
we're just busy.
Yeah, and it's good to balance both what you guys request, but also what we find extremely, funny. I mean, no one would have requested
not
Night
to say
Watcher.
that your requests aren't funny, just that
sorry, that was bad
Our
wording.
finds versus your finds, yeah.
Right.
yeah, and the reason why we keep taking requests, I should say, and not just saying we're not gonna take anymore, is because yeah, sure, we already have enough material to last us years if we just did all the stuff that's already on the list. But some of that is kind of funny. Someone might find something that is downright hysterical, and we want to do it right away. So,
Yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's like at every kind of an monkeys on typewriter sort of thing. Like just about every fanfic has the potential to be requested of us at some point, and even if we accepted half of them, that would be like tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of stories.
Yeah. I mean, and it is, undeniably that, however funny you find a story and put it in requests, if we don't see the comedy potential in it, we'll reject. And so maybe a Google form, maybe a form with a description part where you kind of talk about it and say, kind of highlight
the things that you want us to notice.
Because
like a lot of times we'll get a request and it'll just be like, hey, can you read this? And like we're looking at it and we're like, I don't even see what they thought was so funny about it. It's not even like horrible grammar or horrible plot line. I'm like, are the characters stupid? I don't know.
Sometimes it's a bit hard to find, like,
to figure out what was bad about it that was worth requesting. But I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. They'll never be afraid to file requests either.
Are you guys ever thinking of doing My Inner Life or something similar? I think we've talked about this before. We originally, this is just my opinion. I wasn't super fond of the idea of doing like stories that people had already covered because I wanted to make sure that everything we had to say was kind of fresh, but I've shifted on that. I feel like we could probably do one of the bigger stories that people already know, and that would definitely pull in more views than our current stuff.
Yeah, so, I think at some point we probably will cover something big.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and I don't think there'd be any that because you look at like like people who make Let's Plays, for instance. You follow any of those channels, like watch like one of the big ones like Funhouse. I like to watch them. They cover a bunch of small games, but they always, have room.
They hit the big ones too, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that they don't mind making videos of lesser known games that they find entertaining personally. I think there's actually really respectable because they could just go for the gusto, and I think that we could do a similar thing where we could cover big fanfics and also still do the random stuff we find.
Thank you, Levi, for very graciously giving us your permission.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for. I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
Because if you say it, then you're asking.
And
maybe
right. I don't want to ask, but now that it's been given, I can just admit that was. I mean, everything I said before was all bullshit. All of it was lies. I was just waiting to see if Levi would weigh in and give us the approval.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he had to go ahead and give us the smiley face with the nose.
Yeah.
He knows I hate the nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
He does it anyway.
In response, I'm going to give him.
Are you going to give him the old 442 or the Popeye?
No.
The Popeye.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh shit.
What? This is the little story behind that. One time, me and Bob were just fucking emojis, and I just put down some random characters and it was that, and we both looked at it and we were like, it looks like Popeye.
It looks like Popeye.
It does. It really does.
I can see it.
Yeah.
It's the very useful Popeye.
Oof.
Oh no.
Ooh, he's throwing the German in there.
Oh
Or
God,
whatever.
I hate that.
Yeah, but yeah, Jumper. I at least know what My Inner Life is. I feel like I
have
did
no
look
idea
at
what
it
it
at
is,
some
by the way.
point. But
I mean,
that was forever ago. But
Yeah.
and maybe we could use some streams for some bigger stuff. Like God, I just wish we had more time. I wish we weren't all adults. But
Yeah, that's the thing. Big stories, like one, we need to know for sure that the story is going to be good, beginning to end.
yeah.
And that like I think there are like maybe 2 or 3 stories tops on the channel where we went in and the story is just not, like, honestly probably shouldn't have been turned into a video. One of those is Fish of Skyrim. It's just like, it's not like the videos aren't awful, but the fun parts of the video have nothing to do with the story at all. And it's just basically us dunking on Matt, which was fun and
Yeah.
funny, but like didn't need to be part of that
Fish of
video.
Skyrim.
We
No,
could have
I-
picked a different Skyrim story and still gotten to those jokes if, whatever. But like, that's the reason why we're hesitant to start such big series. The other thing is, with a big series, I always feel the urge to do something big. Like, with Angst Much, we've got we had end credits at the end, but also we had an
The
interview
interview.
and we had a retrospective, and
Yeah.
for Night Watcher, although it took a long time, we did a whole thing for the end, and each chapter, if there was an opportunity for me to do some special editing things, I would sneak some of that in there.
And now we have this retrospective live stream.
And now we have the thing.
I think maybe we.
So like
figure some
My
stuff
Inner
out
Life,
with
I don't know My Inner Life well enough to know exactly what we would do for that. But if we didn't do all that didn't put in that special effort, I don't think it would actually make much of a difference.
Yeah, I don't think it make much sense.
So like those are like little touches for people who like that kind of thing. But like My Inner Life, I think we could, or I'm using that as like a kind of an example. Not necessarily that one in particular, but it could work. And if we did it, that would still mean that like we upload 2 times a week. That means that depending on how frequently, like how long the series is, we might be doing that for a year. And that or it's cutting out a huge section of our cutting out a huge section of our upload schedule.
Yeah. Well, I want to jump in real quick to answer Project question because.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you guys think Night Watcher would have been a good story if it had been better written, or is the plot just that shit that basically nothing can save it? The plot is absolutely horrendous. You'd have to, because like the events are fundamental.
If by better written you mean gut the entire plot, then yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's talking about the prose.
Yeah.
Fixing the prose would help. Honestly, outside of a few weird moments and Beanie's personality, the prose isn't terrible. It's mostly the plot itself is fundamentally flawed. The fact that the police are never involved. Some of the turns of events just do not operate in any version of reality. So like you would have to make like the idea of insidious people,
insidious people in like getting themselves taking over youth group, that basic idea, and like one kid being, well, not even one kid, but a kid being like realizing this and trying to go against them. That if you just want to take that idea as the core of Night Watcher, that's salvageable. There's something there.
Yeah,
you could make a good story out of that.
You can make that work.
You could for sure make that a good story. But how it plays out is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
How it plays out is just a pile of dog shit, and Dick Borer should be
honestly, I think,
ashamed of how fucking dumb and bad his book is.
Yeah,
I do think a thing that really, at least for me, encapsulates just how bad it gets with Night Watcher is in fact the ending where Bean tricks Urga into summoning the demon.
Yeah.
Like
because it's like he
That's
doesn't. It's so clearly like he has this idea of like he wants Bean to be a good guy, and then he just doesn't even think about the actual implications of the actions he's taking. In the same way that he doesn't think about the implications of any of the actions any of the characters take.
Yeah.
Buddy taking off his mask and holding his mom up, didn't think about the consequences of that. Didn't think about how realistically Bean has evidence and his mom has evidence.
Yeah. So the whole thing doesn't work. I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, Levy, but I think I very much disagree with you because you said I think the quality of a story isn't bound to its premise. A well-written book is probably a good book. I absolutely disagree. Like you could be the best writer of prose in the world, but if the story you're telling is a bad story plot-wise, I don't care how good you write about it.
Well, he's also saying
Like-
if you're personally at least someone into the topic, and I think, you know, if you're a Christian who's genuinely worried about, you know, Satanists entering your witches and warlocks entering your church, I guess a well-written prose with that topic. No, even then, it's still like
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, no, you're
there's-
right. Yeah, no, it's
There's things I like, and if a good writer wrote about them, but his actual like events were terrible, then yeah, I mean, the plot, like everything has to line up. You have to be writing a good story,
yeah.
and it
I
has to be
think
something
that's
I'm
the,
interested in.
The other thing that I think
I do
really
think
fucking
that's the
sucks
story.
about Dick Boer's writing style is he has the worst sense of humor. He's not funny. He's not fun. He doesn't know what funny is. So when he has things that are supposed to be funny, it's either cruel or like just dumb and boring.
No.
You know, like where Bean is talking to Joel Mole, and they're sitting there at the pizza place, and they're talking about pizza, and it's the fucking most boring shit. Like nobody tells a goddamn joke. They'll just go, oh, pizza, and then like maybe the Varoom shirt was supposed to be funny. If it was, it's not funny for the reason he intended it to be funny. It's funny because he fucking wrote it.
No, it's supposed to be an actual disguise, though.
Yeah, if it's supposed to be an actual disguise, then it's funny because Dick Boer is an idiot. If it's supposed to be a disguise and funny, it's not a joke. It's just fucking stupid.
I mean,
I wonder if Dick Boer. I'm sorry.
I mean, we've established that Dick Boer just doesn't know how anything works. I mean, in that pizza chapter, they talk to the waitress and
G-Man pizza.
God, what was it like? She says the pizza will take 5 minutes to make, or
Yeah.
be
back
under
in
5
5
minutes, or
minutes.
it's free. And it's
Free
like,
if I'm not back in 5.
yeah, you're gonna give me a fucking flattened out dough with cold tomato paste on it in 5 minutes.
And raw meat.
And you know what? Can I just say, I would still fucking eat that pizza. I would love that pizza.
Yeah.
You have
G-Man
I would
pizza, man.
fuck that pizza.
That's
Okay.
because
you
Bob.
have issues, Bob. You have issues.
That's because Bob is a member of the G-Man.
I love pizza.
But do you like breakfast?
Oh, okay. All right, Levy clarified. So including the plot too.
Oh,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, in that case, yeah, you're just saying a good story.
I mean, in that case,
good
it's like,
story.
yeah. I mean, like.
Oh,
he was-
so correct me if I'm wrong, but I
he
think
was talking more about the subject material. Like, you
yeah.
can make pretty much any subject material, I feel like, into a worthwhile story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That I agree with.
Yeah.
Everything
That's
else
not
has to then
necessarily true.
Okay.
But
most subject material.
I think a lot of like
Maybe
well
not
thought out
everything.
subject material.
Well,
Probably
no, I
you
mean,
could
like-
make a good story out of. But like there's stuff like there's this guy who wanted us to read his story, and he was posting it in comments or whatever, and I looked at it, and it was like one of those like basically lol random. Everything's kind of just happening, and like it was like Goku does this thing and then blah blah blah, and like the lol random aspects of it are all centered around one sort of thing, and the story is about that thing. But even though his prose was fine, I still thought that was like there's
No. I don't think, because Levy's saying the writing and the plot have to be good. What I think what the essence of Levy is saying, and
no, I'm not disagreeing with Levy. I'm disagreeing with what Yella said.
No, I agree with Yella, because I think Yella was restating what Levy said, which is you can make an interesting story about any given subject. And Levy gave the example of ping pong. A lot of people would be like, how could you write a good story about ping pong? But you could, a good writer with a good story and good prose could write a good story.
And of course, a good understanding of ping
Yeah.
pong. Itself.
So, I mean, obviously there hasn't been a story written about every possible subject, but I do think that there's not, to phrase it like this, there's not a single subject that I would say a good story could not be written about.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all those caveats, it's definitely a question of subject
caveats,
material, which I think we covered in
and then
Blaze
story
Cast,
carried by
but
that
then-
subject.
Yeah.
Luna Moon says any pizza can be cooked in 5 minutes if you have a powerful enough oven and aren't a
Aren't a
coward.
coward, yeah.
You are
Yeah.
absolutely right. Actually, if they were using a, I guess if they were using like one of those wood burning like 800-degree ovens in the back,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, if small
they
ones can
could
take 3 minutes.
potentially cook the pizza very, very fast. Although they would also need to assemble the pizza very, very fast.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Pizza.
And
I mean, so I guess the dough is like, why would you do that? Why would you
Yeah.
pre-make most of the pizza, but then
Bob,
guarantee people 5 minutes or it's free? Like that doesn't
know
make
what's
any
crazy?
fucking sense.
there are pizza places. I don't know if they have them near you, where you can go there and carry out an uncooked pizza.
Yeah, Papa
yeah.
Murphy's, take and bake.
Yeah, Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, which I've always thought is an idiotic concept.
Yeah, I mean, you carry out the uncooked pizza, or you carry out the frozen pizza, or whatever, and it's like the problem with the way it's shown in the story is that they custom order a pizza with very specific toppings. You know,
Yeah.
if it was like, get us a meat lovers, okay, it'll be out in 5 minutes, I'd be like, okay, fine. They're probably just cooking a meat lovers in the back anyways.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
That's a
so-
standard order.
So like the fact that they order something specific is what makes that.
What makes it?
Stupid.
I mean, I think that is clearly just an example of Dick trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dick thinks it's funny.
Because it's the whole, you order a pizza, and if the delivery isn't within within such a time frame, you get it for free or whatever.
I mean,
But
there's a number of moments in the
works
book.
less well. It works less well because they're inside the pizza place.
Yeah.
It's 5 minutes, and they
Yeah.
ordered a
Yeah,
very
like here, I actually have the page up right here. And then the girl was back. Here you go, 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Hey, a record, Joel said. Hope, we cracked the 4-minute barrier last week. We had to fly low to do it too, I'll tell you. What'll you have to drink? And I gotta say, I've had sneezes that are funnier than that.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, Dick Boar? That sucks.
And I just want to go back to say that, like, can someone explain take and bake places to me? Because I don't understand why they exist. It's like a weird stopgap between I could go somewhere and get a cooked pizza, I could go to the store and get a frozen pizza, or I could go to a restaurant and get an uncooked pizza. Why? Why would I ever fucking go there?
It's slightly more convenient than going to the store to buy frozen pizza.
And it's way more expensive.
when you walk in, this is for people who have more money than sense. When they walk in,
Okay.
you don't have to walk
I'll take
over
that.
to the aisle. You're already there.
Yeah, like
I mean,
I think
Also, as you walk in, you can shout your order to the person from the door instead of having to go find a pizza.
and they cost just about as much as getting one that's already cooked. It's like I cannot understand how this ever became a fathomable business model, and I do not understand how these places stay in business. Who the fuck goes to them? I'm fucking calling out anyone who's ever gone to this place. Justify paying restaurant price for something that you have to go home and then cook.
I mean,
I mean, at that point, I would just make it myself.
I think it's, still made fresh ingredients, so still better on that front than just buying frozen.
I mean,
But
I don't.
so that
I'm not.
you
I'm not one of
don't-
those people that dunks on frozen.
You don't have everything at home and such to actually prepare it from scratch. So someone else prepares it with the fresh ingredients, and then you take it, and all you need to do is bake it. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. Cold pizza is delicious, but keep in mind the take and bakes are raw.
yeah,
Well, sure, yeah, if it's frozen, I really don't get it. If it's not frozen, I kind of get it for the reason Connor said, where
Yeah, but
you may not have all the fresh ingredients, and you may not want to go. Like, you may not plan that far ahead, and you're like, okay, well, I want to have pizza, but I don't want it to be some frozen bullshit.
I don't think like fresh not frozen. I don't understand why people diss so much on frozen.
I mean,
Like it doesn't
people
really.
just do, Blake. I mean, and if
Yeah.
people do, then other people can make money off of
Yeah.
that. It's that
Well,
simple.
yeah,
So,
I understand the capitalism. But I'm just saying, like, it seems to me like such a niche situation where you would want a pizza to not be frozen, even though there's nothing wrong with frozen pizza, and you don't want to get one already cooked. It's like it sits in such a weird place. I've seen take and bake pizzas at the store. That I get. But
yeah,
I do
because
not
you're already
understand.
there, and it's
I don't
basically
understand a whole
buying a
restaurant dedicated to this one weird scenario where
It's this, yeah, it's a very odd convenience sort of thing. It'd be like if there was a straw store.
yeah,
You
or like,
go through
remember-
fast food and you're like, oh, they forgot to give me the straw. Oh, don't worry, there's a straw store on the way home, and it's like,
yeah, and,
great, I'll buy one straw, please. Like,
and so I'm like, I'm exaggerating my anger for comedy, but I legitimately do think it's a strange business model because of how
it is a little bit. It is pretty strange, and I don't really know how they like. That is one thing I don't know how they stay in business.
Yeah,
I would understand. I would totally get it if it was like a regular pizza place and also sold.
Yeah, and it had that option. Yeah,
You know, like if you're like, you know, if you're fucking, I don't know, Pizza Hut, and they're like, okay, well, I don't want to buy the pizza and then go home and it be cold, I guess, you know, then I'm gonna just I'll get the pre-made thing, and then I'll bake it at home, and then I'll eat it immediately. Like, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
and like
maybe.
and GTETR2 said that, you know, when I was a kid.
By the way, can you please tell us how to say your name? I've been avoiding saying it because I have no idea if it's GTETR or if it's like Getetter or what.
Yeah. But yeah, like regardless of how it's pronounced, like, yeah, so that scenario, getting a take and bake because it was on the way, going to get fresh juice and bring it home before it got cold wasn't practical. And it's like that, I guess that makes sense, but again, maybe it's just me personally, but I think that like the whole I think like frozen food gets very much overly dunked on. Like, you always hear people talk about like fresh meat versus frozen meat, and I'm like, if it's frozen properly, you will not be able to tell the difference. It's a placebo effect that if you're getting something that wasn't frozen, it's somehow fresher and more organic and healthier.
There's definitely like chefs, like high-end chefs or whatever, who can tell the difference.
Yeah.
But like, most of us aren't those people.
Yeah. So like,
So
dissing on frozen ingredients, frozen, you know, and like frozen pizza. Like, I've had some. In fact, you know what? In fact, I think last time I went to Pizza Hut, their pizza tasted like shit. Last time I went to Papa John's, it was okay. I went to a Little Caesars, and it wasn't bad. But there's several brands of frozen pizza that I think consistently taste much better. So
you guys want to know? You guys
walk with the big brain place right there.
You guys want to know what my current favorite pizza place is?
GMAT Pizza.
No, it's 7-Eleven. I just go and get a 7-Eleven pizza. It's like $5 for a whole pizza.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think my favorite place, like chains, like non-local places, probably is Little Caesars. Actually, I know that Bob and Connor, you said like the ones near you have been bad, but the ones around here, it turns out really good. Actually, every time I've gone to Papa John's and the Pizza Hut around here, they've overcooked the pizza. Like, the cheese has been burnt and it's really dry. And when I've gone to Little Caesars, it hasn't been burned.
Should I tell my story about the menu that's sitting on my desk?
I mean,
I'll tell the shortened version.
Yeah,
because it does have to do with pizza. I was up late last night, and I was going to bed around 6, and I was doing something before that. I won't describe what. Wink. and then I woke up around 10, and I took a phone call, and then I sat down at my desk, and I found sitting on my desk is it's a menu for an Italian restaurant. I have it still here. It's like a white piece of paper with just black printed on it. It's not anything special. But it's for like a pizza place, and on the on top of it is a sticky note that just says "Don't forget," that I guess I wrote while I was sleepwalking, because I have no idea where I fucking got this thing. I don't know where I got the menu. I don't know why I wrote "Don't forget" on it. I assume what it was is in my sleep, I saw the menu. I was sleepwalking downstairs or something. I must have had it sitting somewhere downstairs. I must have seen it and saw pizza and thought, that's really fucking good. Eat some pizza. And so I was like, oh, it's too early for pizza. And so I wrote, don't forget. And then just put it on my desk so I would remember to eat pizza later.
It's either that or it's something incredibly ominous and we'll never figure out until
I'll never know, and it'll just come and kill me in the night. And I'll be like, why did I attach it to this menu? That really threw me off. You sleepy me.
Don't forget about this murderer that's after me.
No. Getetter says carbon monoxide poisoning. No, it's not carbon monoxide poisoning. I occasionally have sleep apnea. I occasionally do sleep walk and sleep talk. Very occasionally.
Yeah. And
and I can sleep answer the phone too.
Yeah. One time you even sleep riffed a fanfic.
I don't think I've ever. Well, maybe I have. I don't know.
That would be incredible if we found that out.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't remember this video, and I was in it.
Yeah.
What is the one Steel Donut video where Bob was actually not conscious for any of it?
Oh man.
Yeah. That'd be pretty impressive.
And I want to go back real quick. I feel like I know we're sort of winding down, so we'll probably be heading out soon. But I did want to address one more time the main problem with covering famous fanfics. We would have to change our format somewhat, because I think the thing with doing a stream is that sort of defeats the purpose. Streams aren't going to bring in the views.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing. So it would have to be a regular video, and the main, virtually every famous fanfic is long. Like,
right.
Like
there's like the occasional exception where it's like Cupcakes is like a single thing, but like most of them are series. Yeah, most of them are long.
Yeah, and it's like, they mentioned earlier, someone was talking about how the Legend of Zelda one that was being brought up. Someone said, someone said covering in a year would be optimistic. So apparently it's long. You have someone said Ambience, a Fleet Symphony. It's 4.5 million words.
Yeah.
You've got what was that one that was done by the Boblinator? What was that one?
I don't remember, man.
It was the Boblinator. It was the Wolfblood Lineage.
Oh, right.
All right, you've got ones like that. That one's long. And even like one of the most famous ones, My Immortal, the Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up. That 24,000 words, and that's one of the shorter.
Yeah.
So the main thing is we would have to change our format, like go and watch somebody else who covers these bigger ones and see how they do it.
Yeah, because like we couldn't realistically read every word of it and go through at the pace we go through.
Yeah.
Or
it would take forever, and it would defeat the purpose.
Yeah, people who cover those like Bren Daniel basically just reads it straight, maybe breaks to laugh and say one or two lines, and then continues reading it straight.
Well, you've got two people. You've got three sorts of people. You have the dramatic readers, the riffers, which is where we sit, and then the people who make like an edited presentation.
Yeah, and like a highlight reel kind of.
We would have to do an edited presentation, which a change in format like that would necessitate.
Not only would that be like not necessarily working for us for our style, but also that would be a lot of work. We'd have to record all of it and then cut that down. Yeah. And like right now, our format, our editing is largely like, okay, well, the timing on this joke isn't as tight as it should be, so let's just trim out some of the silence here you know, or like shift some of this audio around so that topics stay together, and that's about it. You know, most of the time, nothing changes other than that.
No.
Yeah.
So
on.
But I think you know, we've talked about, you know, all that stuff. I think we should end on like just one last note about Night Watcher, or Dick Borer generally. I don't know which of those books we're gonna do next, but we'll definitely do another one of Dick Borer's books.
Yeah,
and it won't be our next big series, but we may start it during the next big series.
Yeah, and the books don't really follow each other that much. Like
Mm-hmm.
even the ones that are all about sports. So we could probably do.
Yeah, it's not like he loses his hand in book 3 and then book 4 matters.
So like I think I've read through point. Football Detective I think was the most boring.
Okay.
Soccer Sleuth was pretty good, and Volleyball Spy is fan-flipping-tastic.
Yeah, Volleyball Spy I think is probably what we'll do.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not suggesting you read it before us. In fact, I would suggest you don't read it before us.
You don't,
be surprised.
There's some absolutely atrocious things I've seen.
Yeah, there is one specifically very atrocious scene in Soccer Sleuth, but the Volleyball Spy definitely has the biggest number of hits.
Yeah, I mean, Volleyball Spy, I don't think it's even really a spoiler to say how it starts. Because Volleyball Spy, he's a reporter for the newspaper, and he's writing a story about the volleyball team, and he literally just like shits all over the idea of women in sports.
Yeah.
He writes this article, and nobody likes him for it. And it's like, of course they don't, Bean. You're a dick.
Yeah, which suggests that Dick Borer knows that it's bad, and so he's either saying this.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying.
Or, I do disagree with this message, but I'm just gonna have my supposedly likable main character say it anyway.
Yeah, and then Locke asks, "Are transcription errors in the rest of the books?" I don't think so. No. I don't remember. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
The transcription errors in Night Watcher. I kind of forgot about that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I've got one kind of more off-topic thing, but I sort of do want to bring it up in the stream. Man, you know, this is going to be a devil's advocate sort of thing, but hey, if all 3 of you hate the idea, that's 3 of 5, and so, you know, you've democratically shot it down. But we were talking about our, you know, requests backlog a while ago. And then you were talking about your form idea, and since we have just so much backlog that we haven't looked at, I'm just kind of thinking, again, I know this is a dramatic idea, but if we cut out all of that, like, that you guys have requested that we haven't gotten to look at, and switch to these forms, would some of you that have sent us a whole ton of requests have remembered maybe the real highlights, the ones you felt strongly enough about to re-request? You know, so that maybe we get 5 requests from you instead of having to wade through 50 or 60. Yeah, I mean, I know that'd be kind of a douche thing, but I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm kind of indifferent.
Yeah, well,
I see your reasoning.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, if people are interested in that, I mean, if you guys think it would be more, like, you guys meaning both the Steel Donut and also the viewers, if they think it would be more useful to them to have a request form, or it'd be more confusing, because like the way, I don't know if you guys know how Google Forms work. You click on a link and it'll pull up like it's basically like a little quiz, you know, and so I can have like multiple choice things. I can have, you know, open text boxes for you to type. I can have, you know, that kind of thing, drop downs. And so like I would format the form so it's like, what's the title of the story? What are the highlights of the story? What universe is it set in? You know, like original universe or fan fiction or WikiHow, that kind of thing. And then, you know, you would put what name you'd like to be credited as, leave blank if you don't want to be credited, that kind of thing. And, you know, then it would output to us. And I think if I have the know-how to on Google Forms, I might even be able to make it so that it can detect when multiple people submit the same story. But I need to check on that. But that would basically
I do
be how
think
it works.
I do think it's something to at least look into.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if you select GMAT as a fandom, it gets auto approved.
And you know, next time I think I missed the last few.
You're cutting out. Can you?
I was just say I think I missed being in the last few GMAT videos, which I really regret. I would like next time we do.
Yeah,
GMAT,
we gotta
I'm gonna
find
show
another
that.
GMAT because we did. What was the most recent GMAT one?
Oh God.
GMAT.
Was that one where the
Oh,
guy
that's
got the staff and then he got
Yeah.
teleported?
That was me and Matt.
I know we have like 2 or 3 GMAT.
Oh, you know what?
stories on the
I'm
doc.
just gonna take a random stab and say it was called "How I Joined the GMAT."
Yeah, because
That's probably actually the title of the story too.
Yeah,
because I fucking love GMAT.
the GMAT only writes people's like introduction stories.
Yeah,
I know
and
we've
yeah,
got
that-
like 2 or 3 more of those on the doc. So
and
My
yes,
bag
Locke.
nings.
and that.
Yeah,
Well,
yes, Locke. That was my
Yep,
cat.
the title is "How I Joined the GMAT."
Yeah. I remember seeing the searches. Yeah, Locke. That is my cat. And
yeah.
Luna
Yeah.
said, "Was the plot twist in volleyball that girls don't play sports?" Nope, that's just the opening.
No, that's the
Beanie thinks
opening.
that. Yeah,
Girls
Beanie,
do
Beanie
play
says
sports,
that.
and Bean learns that girls do play sports.
Yeah. In fact, he learns that he was wrong because like he's like all they do is all this shit, and then people actually how volleyball works. You don't even fucking know how the sport works.
Also, someone asked, I'm trying to find where the. Oh, yeah. Project Carthage said, do you guys think Dick Bohr is even still alive at this point? I have no idea.
I honestly don't think so.
I probably not.
I mean, if he was, he'd be so old that I'm pretty sure that it's just.
I would wish death upon him.
like it's like money is
Oh my god.
okay.
Out of pity. Out of pity.
Yeah, I think money is. I think he probably just has like a bunch of money saved up. Website still being hosted. I don't think he's actively maintaining anything.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dick Bohr.
Yeah, rest in peace. And rest in peace, Night Watcher.
Rest in peace, Night
Yeah,
Watcher.
it's over.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's over, guys.
It's a tragedy for me to see the dreams over.
Finally, the nightmare can end.
Yeah. The night is gone, and now it's a new day for all of us.
Yeah.
The
But
morning
thanks for
sun
coming to the
is back.
stream.
This is
Thanks
horrible
for
night.
sharing your thoughts and your memes and your jokes and stuff. And yeah, Thanks.
Stay frosty.
we're gonna wrap things up. So see ya.